Good morning and welcome back to the coverage of YCS Prague 2016. It's the start of day 2 and this is where it's crunch time. Just 3 more rounds before we cut down to the top 32. That means out of an initial 980 something players, only 32 will remain. My name is Oliver German, I'm your host for the weekend and I'm joined by Luke Withington.
Hey Ali.
Always a pleasure to work with you, Luke.
Yeah, and you too. We're back for day 2. We're going to see exactly what YCS Prague decides is the best deck.
Right. Yes, and we have seen like a little bit of a trinity at the top.
Yeah.
With Draco Pal coming in first, and then Monarch and Cosmo going toe-to-toe in second place.
Yeah, they swapped around during the last couple
at
of
one
rounds,
point,
didn't they?
yeah. Right. For now, let's show you the pairings, because we guys are going to be focusing on one of the so-called bubble matches. That means these guys are currently living the dream of still advancing to the top 32. This is table 30 between Cherry, Jan and Ur Kovacic from Slovenia, and Cherry, of course, from Canada. We mentioned him yesterday.
Yeah, he actually lives in the UK now, and I think he's studying in the UK.
Right. And we call it bubble match because if you lose, your little bubble is going to burst, which means you're not going to make it to the top 32.
Yep.
So this is where it matters the most for these two. We're a little behind the schedule because the rest of the field has already started like 2 or 3 minutes ago. We don't want to have too much of a delay, so we can still do an interview with the winner after the match. And for those reasons, let's take you to the feature match table where these two are definitely ready to get their game on.
Yeah, they are. Here we go.
All right, here you see Cherry on the left and Ur on the right. And in terms of decks, we do have 2 of the usual suspects this weekend.
Yep.
Monarchs
the top
for
2.
Cherry, with no extra deck, of course, and Draco Pal for Ur. Little side note, in case you're interested, we originally wanted to go with table 32. That would have been Germany, Erhan Akusku versus Japan, Yu Shibata, Phantom Knights versus Monarchs. However, one of these two didn't make it to the table in time, so that's an easy win for one of them.
And so we see Jerry start out here with Patheism of the Monarchs, discarding his Stormforth. So that's less useful in this matchup than he would have been in the Cosmo matchup, so he's probably okay with that. So straight in with the spin that he's put on the Monarch deck, he's using the Quantums. So he's going to get the blue layer, and the blue layer is going to go and search out the red layer.
What do you make of this spin? We have seen it once or twice yesterday.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people seem to be cutting Edia and Eidos for place of the Quantums, but he's actually playing both of those. So he's playing Idea, Eidos, he's playing the red layer, the blue layer.
So sounds a little bit like overkill.
Yeah, a little bit. It's combining the 2 engines, but you know they all work really well with the deck. With being able to use Return of the Monarch quite a lot if you're using the Quantums, and just in general keeping the consistency up. I don't think his deck's as consistent as we saw from Marcello Barberi yesterday, the kind of turbo version we saw, where he was only really playing 33 cards, using Chicken Game and such. But definitely, he's got more resources in his deck to be used for certain situations, so we'll see if he manages to take advantage of those. Right.
And we see that Ur Kovacic doesn't have any responses at this point in time.
No, he's got nothing.
It's not a good hand with so many monsters, or is it?
No, there's quite a lot of monsters there. He's got a Turtle and Master Pendulum. I think those marry up as far as the scales are concerned.
We got a
Master's
scale
low.
3.
Oh, Turtle is big, yeah. So
that makes sense, yeah.
Yep, so he could pendulum some, but again, he's not really gaining any advantage from having those in his pendulum scales, to be honest. Shadow Dragon, that's quite a strange one. I've not seen many people playing Shadow Dragon in this deck. But in the dark version, I guess you do, because you can play Armageddon Knight and send it straight from the deck. And similarly to, when we had Necros and people started playing Armageddon Knight to send the Djinn faster.
Right.
And they started playing Shadow Dragon to get around things like Mistake and stuff like that. Similarly in this scenario, I think. So you can obviously normal summon Armageddon Knight, send Shadow Dragon, and get rid of anti-spell fragrance.
Right. So no responses from Ur for the time being. That means Cherry can just go on and continue making some plays right here.
Yeah, so he's going to use Airbus's effect to be able to put one of his cards from his hand back in his deck.
And that is actually the... Oh, no, it's not the Shadow Dragon.
It was the Gitterl.
It was a Key Turtle, so the scales are now gone,
Yeah.
basically.
So, well, Turn Toad still has a scale, but I don't know what the scale of
Let's bring that one
is.
up again.
Oh, so
no,
that's low
so we
as
got
well.
we
So
got low and low now. Yeah.
So he's not going to be able to complete that scale.
So that was a really good hit.
That was a very good hit, yeah. So even if we were going to see some like crazy pendulum foreplay from here, that's going to be less likely now. He's going to have to draw into some kind of scale. So let's see. So Jerry's actually started really well here. He's been able to, get his quantum using the teleports exactly how you want to get it. And then now he's got Ether in hand. He's got his setup. He's got domain and return on the field.
Yeah,
He's just pretty happy.
It looks like a pretty good start.
Yeah, the only thing that's probably not so happy about is the fact he's got Kuraz in his hand. You don't really want Kuraz in your hand ever. It's one of those things you want to summon that off Ether.
All right. Well, Ur did draw into a reinforcement of the army, so that allows him to unlock like a toolbox of cards in his deck.
So most likely he's going to go and get Armageddon Knight. I think. Let's have a look at his deck list here. So I think his only target is Armageddon Knight. Yeah. Just Armageddon Knight. So we can go get Armageddon Knight.
All right. But then there's going to be more searching and deck thinning, of course.
Yeah, so he can summon Armageddon Knight and send a card from his field to the graveyard. From his deck to the graveyard, sorry. So he needs a way to deal with Domain of the Monarchs here. Now, it's going to struggle because obviously he's got Shadow Dragon in his hand, so he can't send that with Armageddon Knight. But yeah, so there he goes. He gets his reinforcements of the army target. He's going to go ahead and summon Armageddon Knight. I think he is, or maybe he's got a different motive here. He might try and just wait a bit. He might try and wait till next turn to get rid of that Domain of the Monarchs.
Right.
Let's see what he decides to do here.
Yeah, he's definitely got a couple of options.
Yeah. Let's see what he decides on. So he is going to summon the Armageddon Knight, so he's going to try and make a play this turn.
Yeah, so far so good.
Yeah, so maybe he's just going to, invest for next turn. So there's Zephyros. I'm unsure exactly how that's going to
help him
here, yeah. Unless he's, he can't summon from the extra deck. So the Domain of the True Monarchs says when you control a tribute summoned monster that neither player can summon from the extra deck. As you can see, Jerry doesn't have an extra deck, as typical with the new Monarch deck.
Yeah.
But Ur's obviously going to really want to be summoning from that extra deck.
Although we have actually seen a couple of Monarch builds with an extra deck.
Yeah. So his Turn Toad. I don't actually know what the Toad does. What does Turn Toad do?
Here we go. You can... it's the pendulum. You can target one face-up monster on the field, switch its current attack and death until the end of...
Well, there you go then. He's going to be able to...
just run over.
Try and run over Erebus.
Yeah. Well, Monarch's very low attack, very low death for the most part.
Yeah.
That was the classic way of getting rid of them, Book of Moon them or enemy controller them or something like that.
Yeah. However, Ether is going to be summoned here.
Yeah,
it's unsurprising, really, because Jerry had he had all of the resources required showed to his opponent, so his opponent really should have known that this play was available to him.
Right. And at this point in time, when you're in round 8 and you know that your opponent has also won at least 5 rounds on the first day, you don't put your money on even gonna making a mistake.
No, I think not. I think that is a reasonable strategy sometimes to be able to say.
I'm not saying like you always should discard this strategy, but in this particular scenario, it doesn't seem like the best way to go.
So he's playing 3 Kuraz. That's quite a strange one, but he's playing 3 Kuraz. So he managed to get another one out there.
All right.
I think Kuraz destroyed itself and Return of the Monarchs.
Ur's little engine has come to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
And it's back to Cherry.
He is going to be
able to... now drew into an upstart goblin.
He's going... Yeah. So he's going to be able to... No, I think it's still Ur's turn. He's going to be able to use Zephyros' effect to bounce the Turn Toad back to his hand.
Oh.
To be used potentially next turn.
How did Cherry draw then? That was the summon, of course. Yeah, of course, the Kuraz summon. All right.
Okay, yeah, so he's going to be able to use Turn Toad again, but I think Ether has a much higher defense than we saw from Erebus.
Yes. It. I think it was 2,200. Oh no, Ether also has
Oh,
just
Ether also
1,000.
has 1,000. Oh,
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
it's
it
a
must have
Monarch,
just
so
been
they
run it.
all have 1,000
Yeah,
def.
I thought at least one of them. I thought the like big Monarchs, the level 8 ones had slightly higher. But anyway, yeah. So that's just once per turn. Jerry must have misread that then. I misread that as well. I thought it was just once per turn. You could use that card. I didn't realize it was
Right.
once per turn on the card.
But it's a nice little combo with the Sephiroth and the Turn Toad.
Oh yeah, Zephyros. Zephyros is a big card in this deck. You can be constantly bouncing your pendulum scales to reuse them over and over again.
Right.
Which is really
So
good.
even if you don't have matching scales, you can do something with your pendulum monsters here.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's just been useful. And I'm not going to say that Ur's completely out of this now. He is going to be able to summon from the extra deck and going to be able to get rid of that domain. Because obviously he doesn't control Jerry doesn't control a tribute summoned monster
Right.
anymore.
Yep.
So let's see if he decides. I say if. He's probably going to exceed someone here.
Yeah,
gotta
I
hope
think that's
so.
almost a
You've
given
gotta
at
hope
this
so.
point in time. What's a good target against the Monarchs?
I think just getting rid of domains probably a good thing. So domain does more than just limit your opponent's summoning abilities.
Yeah.
It also allows you to use its effects where you can show a monarch from your hand, and then it reduces its level, which means obviously it's easier to tribute summon.
Right. What's your best option? I mean, he's got a Diamond Direwolf.
Yeah.
That can definitely get rid of it.
Yeah, so I think what he's going to do, he's going to go into King of Feral Imps here, and then he's going to go and search out, I think, Lizard Draw, which is going to complete his scales.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be good. He's definitely going to go and search for a scale now.
And it's very nice to see how this deck continues to,
Yeah, there's Lizard Draw.
apply a combo, really.
Yeah, so even though he had to play quite unoptimally during that turn, he still managed to get through it. But, you know, we do see that Jerry, with the Kuraz combo, managed to really, really get some, get a lot of advantage
Get also
in his hand.
some value, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry basically has a full hand.
Yeah, he's got a full hand.
Despite throwing cards on the
Yeah.
table.
He's going to be going up to 6 now, and then Upstart Goblin as well.
Yeah, which doesn't
So-
increase the number of cards in his hand, but he's going to see yet another card.
Yeah, so we're going to pend.
There we go.
Pendulum summon 3 monsters here.
Yeah, so Ur just completely emptied his hand, almost completely emptied his hand.
So now it's all about, let's try and gain some cards back from all of that pendulum summoning. So he's going to use Lizard Draw to begin with. So he's already pendulum summoned. He has no need for scales at this point.
And we've seen this yesterday in our last round feature match of round 7 when Ali Fabas was applying so much pressure, and he was really making use of the full Swiss Army knife that is the Draco Pal deck.
Yeah.
There's
He
so
also
many
drew
different plays.
He drew a second donkey there as well. So
Yeah.
that's going to be really useful next turn.
Yeah, one of the key cards yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
In that match that we just mentioned.
Second donkey's really been brought to the top as far as the Performapal cards that are being played in this deck now.
Right. Speaking of yesterday's coverage, in case you guys are interested, we of course got everything up on YouTube already. That includes the round 7 feature match. So you can just head over to our YouTube channel. You can watch back to back all of yesterday's live streaming contents. All right, but let's focus on today. We still got the Domain of True Monarchs. That's the only card on Cherry's side on the field.
Yeah, as Ur's got quite a lot going for him right now.
Yeah, but similarly to Cherry's opening turn, where Ur didn't have any ways to respond, Cherry is now sitting in a kind of a lock where he cannot do anything on his opponent's turn, and he just has to watch and see Ur really unleash the combos.
Yeah. If Jerry had like a max C right now, it would be so different.
Yeah. Most likely, winning strategy for Ur would be deck out at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have seen. Obviously, he wouldn't have extended this far into his combo. I think he'd have just stopped after the attacks even. Okay, so we're going to see an Exceed summon here. Not quite sure what he's going to summon. Obviously, Master Pendulum doesn't have the same restriction as Luster, where you can only Exceed summon using it into Draco Slayer monsters. You can just use it for anything. because it's a normal monster. So let's see what he decides to go for here. The only thing he can't do is use it for a synchro summon because of it was summoned with Ignister.
Right.
So going into a
Abyss Dweller.
Fistwell, yeah, that's actually a good choice. So he's not going to be able to use his Prime Monarch. However, well, he's kind of messed up a little here, I guess, because Prime Monarch can be chained. But I say he's messed up. He's still going to be able to stop Patheism, but at the same time, he's reading Prime Monarch as if he thinks, oh, I'm going to be able to stop this, and then he just realizes that he can't.
Yeah.
I feel like is kind of, that both players feel a bit under pressure here. Jerry didn't read the turn toad properly during the turn, funnily.
Yeah.
And not properly understood how Prime Monarch works either. So yeah, Abyss Dweller is going to get used here, and then Jerry's most likely going to chain Prime Monarch. Yeah. Or if obviously if he can't do anything with it. So let's have a look at Jerry's hand here.
There we go.
So he's got quite a lot going for him, really. So he's decided, I'm just not going to bother. I'm not going to use my Prime Monarch. I'm going to use my red layer instead. So red layer, you can search a quant card, get a quant card from your graveyard back to your hand where he doesn't have any.
Right.
And then here's Idea. So this is what we were talking about yesterday with the Monarch deck. So
yeah.
Idea is really kind of situational in the fact that if it gets stopped, then you're just screwed. But
then again, if your opponent only has one card in hand, like Ur has at the moment, it's fairly reasonable to go for it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Definitely. It's just one of those things where you think, is this situation going to really arise where I'm going to be able to just, normal summon completely scot-free?
Sometimes it depends a little bit on the way you're playing. You can force your opponent into such a situation.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that way for Jerry here.
Yeah, I don't want to say it was. Well, I don't want to say it was truly lucky, but the fact that he didn't have Idea to begin with, he had other things to try and use his opponent's resources. Then came out with Idea. That was pretty good.
Right.
So Eidos here is going to give the extra tribute summon during the turn. So he's already normal summoned Idea, but he's going to get another tribute summon. So we'll see what he decides to tribute summon. So he's got a choice of Kuraz or Erebus.
Just checking his graveyard again.
Yeah.
And it's funny when you consider that Monarchs have never been known to be a quick deck. And after just one turn, he has a couple of cards in his graveyard, like around 10 or so. Yeah. These days, every deck is rather quick when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think just the way that the game is at the moment is quite quick, and you got to be able to set up your resources quite quickly. The most amount of setup you used to have to do back in the day was having a light and dark monster in the graveyard, right?
Yeah. And then sometimes it was really important to get 3 darks into the graveyard.
Yeah.
And not more and no less.
No more, no less. And then obviously we expanded to light monsters. Light swan monsters even.
All right, so where's Jerry going to go from here? We're going to see a tribute summon.
He's going to tribute summon. There's no question about it. He's going to tribute summon. So he's going to tribute summon Eidos. I think he revealed Ebus for Domain. Okay, that's kind of surprising. But at the same time, I think that's a really good move. So he's decided, I'm just going to give my opponent some cards, because this is what Kuraz does. When Kuraz is summoned, you destroy up to 2 cards on the field, and then whoever owned those cards when they were on the field is
going to draw.
Gets to draw.
Yep.
So he's drawn 2 cards here. Let's find out what he's drawn. Actually, there's another card that I can't quite see what it is, and I don't recognize too much. I think it's this Pendulum Rising card that he's playing. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. And usually Ryan's quite quick on the draw, and if he doesn't quite recognize it, then he's going to have to read it.
Right, so Jerry passes play with an emergency teleport.
It is Pendulum Rising.
Yeah, 2 copies of Wavering Eyes now for Ur. Not that fortunate, actually.
No, because he's got no Pendulum Scales right now.
Yeah, and it doesn't really do anything against his opponent's strategy. Wavering Eyes is one of these cards that turn into like a 1 or 2 word answer to the question, how you're doing. I've had a couple of players that were like, yeah, I was doing really well. I was like 3-0, and then in round 4, my opponent had Wavering Eyes. And that's like all they say.
Yeah, so Pendulum Rising says, send one monster you control to the graveyard and special summon from your deck one Pendulum monster with the same level as the sent monster's original level, but destroy it during the end phase. So basically it's going to give him the ability to special summon one Pendulum monster from the deck with the same level as a monster that he controls.
Right. And he's just doing that, getting the Lizard draw.
I'm unsure because he gets to special summon it, so it needs to be something that's going to deal with Kuraz immediately.
Right.
So we just had someone ask in chat actually about the contents of Jerry's deck. He is playing 2 Idea and 2 Eidos. Just to confirm that for you. So that's a bit better than the 3 Idea, 2 Eidos that people were playing. I can't remember the ratios, but 2 and 2 seems a lot better than going with 3 and 3, just because it does break quite a lot.
Okay, here's the second donkey coming down.
Yeah, so second donkey is going to be able to go and search for a performable card. I think it gets sent to the graveyard, however, because he doesn't have 2 pendulum scales. So second donkey is usually really good when you've got your pendulum scales already set up. But when you don't, then that card gets sent to the graveyard. He's so cheeky, isn't he?
Sorry?
Second donkey looks so cheeky.
Yeah. Okay. It's leaving play now.
So he's using the Pendulum Rising.
Yep.
Let's see what he decides to special summon here.
What do you think is the best option?
I'm going to have a look. Let's have a look. So maybe Pendulum Sorcerer. Trying to decide what's going to be the best here. There's nothing that jumps out at me. You know, I'm kind of in this mindset right now that he just really needs to deal with Domain.
Right. His 2 copies of Wavering Eyes are leaving play now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So he's there you go. Yeah. So he summoned the Pendulum Sorcerer. So Pendulum Sorcerer, you get to pick 2 of your cards and destroy them, and then you get to add Performer Pal monsters from your deck to your hand equal to the number you destroyed. So you destroy 2 Wavering Eyes.
It's a very nice way to replace cards that you really don't need.
Yeah. So he gets the Skullcrabat Joker. And what else is he going to go for? Probably a monkey board.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Turtle. Yeah. Same thing. He's gonna because he's gonna summon Joker and get the other one.
Yeah, I mean the general strategy is always pretty much the same.
Yeah. However, Pendulum Rising should be in the graveyard underneath the 2 Wavering Eyes, but try not to pry on that far too much.
Yeah.
So, Turtle. Oh, okay. So he's gonna
go for the Lizard Draw.
He had Lizard Draw in hand.
Yep.
So then he's gonna be able to use Lizard Draw's effect to draw another card. So he's just searching for an answer here. He doesn't main deck any Twin Twisters.
And
so he
now
tried
there's
to
a question. Summon is not working because second donkey already came down.
He did, yeah. Second donkey.
No, normal summon for this turn.
Yeah.
Is gone.
Second donkey was the first summon, and the second summon was Skullcrabat Joker.
And Ur actually plays a Treacherous Trap Hole, a card that we talked about yesterday. It's also running a bottomless trap hole. That's quite interesting. Can he get rid of it in the graveyard?
No, so the reason he's playing these 2 is because of Trap Tricks Reflacia. So he can use Trap Tricks Reflacia. I'm pretty sure, he's playing Reflacia. So he can send them from the deck to use them.
And then depending on the situation, one of them is...
Yeah. So usually you play Reflacia in the first turn. So
you're
never going to have a trap in your first turn. Even if you already drew Bottomless, you can play Bottomless and then chain to get the Treacherous Trap Hole in the grave.
Right.
And, somehow utilize that.
All right, here we go. King of the Feral Imps going in for an attack.
Yeah, over the red layer.
So this is a little bit of a back and forth, this game. I really like how it's going up and down for
Yeah.
both of these players.
So he didn't attack Idea here. It's because Idea does do something when it gets sent to the graveyard. You get to add a Monarch spell trap back from your banished onto your hand. So let's see here.
As the Abyss Dweller activation again.
Yep, I can see him using Prime Monarch now, maybe. He's just I think he's deciding whether he's going to use Prime Monarch.
I think he pointed to the domain of the True Monarchs.
Yeah, so he's skipping out on that again. He's
Yep.
going to use...
I don't think he forgot about it. I think he's consciously not using
Oh, no,
it.
definitely. He's consciously just deciding, let's not bother with that.
Okay, there's the emergency teleport.
Yeah, so teleport. So he actually had blue layer in his hand, which is unfortunate.
The thing is, it looks like Cherry's going a lot quicker through his moves right now. It seems like he's onto something
He's in
here.
control. I think he's very much in control right now. The more tribute monsters he gets on the field, the tougher it gets for to come back in this game. And just generally right now, we're seeing that Jerry's just having more monsters that are bigger than his opponent's monsters.
Right.
Now, it's a simple concept.
Sometimes it works like that.
Yeah, just you have bigger monsters than your opponent.
Yeah. It doesn't
But
nearly
here we
often
go.
enough work like that.
Here's that treacherous trap hole. So that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. Yeah, that's a really big deal. So that actually means that control of the board swings back to here.
And do you see that card coming, like ever?
I don't think so. It's one of those things where you think, oh, he's got some strike set.
Yep.
He's got some strike set. Let's not worry about that. Let's just play into it and see how it goes. So he's actually trying to put one of the cards back. He's going to put it back. So that's Skullcrabat Joker. What was the other card in his hand? It was a Pendulum Sorcerer. So Pendulum Sorcerer is a small scale, so he can put that next to the Gi Turtle.
Let's bring that up again.
Yeah, so the Gi Turtle's
Just
big scale. I think it's 6, and Sorcerer's 2.
Right. So he's got access to pretty much everything. And how many face-up cards does he have in his extra deck?
Yeah, I only remember him sending a Lizard Draw. I think Master Pendulum earlier.
So
When he had an Ignister. So
doesn't
it's
sound like a gigantic pendulum summon is going to
no,
come.
it's not loads, but it's enough. And because, I think it doesn't matter even if it's not gigantic.
Oh,
It's-
that doesn't work because we saw the Abyss Dweller earlier this turn.
No, that was during Jerry's turn.
Oh, right, okay.
We're back to...
Right, we're
his
back
turn.
to, or okay.
Yeah. So, is here, and he's going to go in with Ether. So this is absolute trouble for here, because obviously we're going to see Ether, and Ether's going to be a tribute summoned monster.
Right.
And that's going to be triggering the domain effect. Well, not triggering it, but
It's very interesting.
applying that continuous
Cherry
effect.
not like having anything really. Just one card in hand, I think.
And Domain. Domain's just
yeah.
locking him down. Yep. That's just how it rolls, this deck. It's all about that big, important lockdown card, Domain of the True Monarchs.
Yeah, such a
And
strong field spell.
Idea got destroyed.
I think the
Sense of
only
Graveyard.
field spell that we've seen that had a similarly crippling effect was Necro Valley.
Yeah.
And even Necro Valley doesn't really hold a candle next to Domain of the True Monarchs, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, not right now in this format, anyway.
Yeah.
I think Necro Valley overall is quite... If you compare to the cards side by side, you'd think that Necro Valley was overall stronger.
Yep.
Just if you didn't look at the archetypes, overall Necro Valley's stronger. It doesn't need any requirements to be effective.
Right.
It's just
This
always
gives your monsters a nice push.
Yeah.
500.
Yeah, it's just the whole moving things from the graveyard being ineffective. It seems very strong in itself, and Domain might seem very situational. But when you've got all these Monarch cards with such consistency, it's just so useful.
Right. Okay, so once again the scale has been tipped, and this time it's favoring Cherry again. Just after Ur had this great comeback, actually. Cherry controlling the field. 2 copies of Aether, the Heavenly Monarch, on the field. But it is, however, Ur's turn. He now summons the second donkey. Face-up defense, that means that's his pendulum summon, I think.
Yes, so that was from his hand, so he can do that still. He can pendulum summon from his hand, and he's going to go get Skullcrobat Joker to his hand, because he's got the complete pendulum scales. Now, second donkey's actually going to get a boost here from the Pendulum Sorcerer, because Pendulum Sorcerer's effect, when you special summon a Performer Pal monsters, all the Performer Pal monsters get 1,000 attack points. That's not going to be helpful right now.
Yeah, otherwise it would have been in an attack position, I guess.
Yep. But we are going to see Skullcrobat Joker being summoned. And a grand 1/8. I think Jerry's disputing here, so I think he's just looking to see,
asking whether the Pendulum Sorcerer is also affecting.
Yeah, is affected
Skullcrobat Joker
by the.
Well, it says you currently control.
Yeah, so it's not.
Yeah.
That's why I thought that was going to go for this play. He was going to attack into the ether that was tribute summoned.
It's one of those things. Yesterday we've seen that where a player actually lost the game because he didn't read a card.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he did read a card, but he forgot about half the effect one turn later.
Yeah.
And then really cost him.
Yeah, it is. But here we see this happen. And I think Domain gives attack boosts to the Monarchs as well. I don't know if it's only when the Monarch attacks, but Domain does.
And that is it. That concludes our first game with Jerry coming out on top.
Yeah.
With Ur not seeing any options to fight through this little brick wall of 2 copies of Ether, the Heavenly Monarch.
Yep.
Monarchs again build a house.
Yeah, they built a really nice house this time.
A castle. We said the Monarchs are only building castles.
Yep.
So, and that is 1-0 for Cherry.
Just to correct myself, it was only when you attack with Domain of the True Monarchs.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I was just unsure.
Cherry 1, Ur none.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, guys, this is a bubble match. Like, they need to win to advance to the top 32.
We saw there just pointing at Jerry's field card zone, just saying, this was the issue.
Yeah.
This card was the issue.
Yeah. So Domain of the True Monarchs really making the difference in this first game.
Yeah.
Really good card.
It is the Domain of the True Monarchs. Only Monarchs can perform all the combos inside there.
Yeah. 800 attack during damage calculation is nothing to flinch at either. Really puts you over pretty much almost everything that people are going to play these days.
Yeah, especially with Airbus or Ether, that's going straight over.
Yeah.
It's going to put them up to 3-6. That's even bigger than the Mass Beast. I remember playing the Mass Beast. That was a long time ago. 3,300. It was 10 stars. Ritual monster.
Right. And yes, this first game took quite a little while.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we got to that stage where Monarchs were locking them down and Monarchs were just struggling to get that going.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure when we started, but I think it's fair to say that 25 minutes have passed already.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we started about 10 past the hour.
Yeah, something like that. So there is a certain chance that this game is going to go to time, and if it goes to time, who's going to be happier about that?
I think at this point it's definitely going to be the Monarch player, just because he's ahead in this first game, and after 25 minutes being spent, 25-30 minutes being spent in that game, going into time when you're in this game, it's a strange kind of thing. When you're ahead in that first game, then it's always a good thing for time to happen.
Right. And speaking of time and paying life points, which is a big deal in those situations, Cherry is actually playing Solemn Scolding.
Yeah. So that's surprising. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. I bet he's going to keep it in.
For the second game,
he can keep it in for the second game.
And is that a situation? I mean, we still have enough time, but sometimes you also want to get rid of Upstart Goblin when you're going to time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you just start putting in other side deck cards that are just like mildly useful.
Yeah. So what's gonna come in? We see a Majesty's Fiend. That's one of the cards that has been making an appearance in the main deck
Yeah,
half the time. We saw the Monarchs in the feature match.
yeah, it's actually not so good against the Draco Pal deck. It's still good, don't get me wrong, it's still a very good card, but it's all about locking down um, the pendulum summoning with Domain. Now, if you get that with Majesty's Fiend, then generally you will be in a really good spot. Majesty's Fiend is, you struggle to get Majesty's Fiend to your hand unless you naturally draw it, or by searching it with Return of the Monarchs.
Oh, actually, that is time in the round for the rest of the field. They, of course, started almost 9 sharp. I think like 9:05, something like that.
Yeah.
And we started like 5 minutes later, something like that. So
Yeah, we must be about 30 minutes into the round then.
yeah, so we only got around 10 minutes, like tops actually.
Yeah.
Probably less.
Yeah. Well, here we go. So there's
Yeah, they're not wasting any more time.
no time wasted. Yeah, Draco Pal's opening with the monkey board. Obviously, this was one of the cards that we saw that was affected by the adjusted list. For very good reason. if you go ahead, I was talking to Marcello yesterday. We didn't actually get a chance to talk about this in the interview, which is a real shame. But I was walking around talking to people about the adjusted list, and Marcello was saying he's so happy that happened.
Yeah.
He was really happy because it was him and Joshua Schmidt actually. I really wanted to get them both interviewed on Friday together because they were stood there and they were just bouncing off each other, telling each other just why the adjusted list was so good.
Yeah.
And they were saying, just think what would happen if the Draco Pals deck had another 2.
We should totally do a little segment.
Yeah.
And have these 2 and
another 1 or another 2 of either Monkey Board or Skullcrabat Joker, like either of those, just one more would be insane. Absolutely insane. It would make the deck so strong. And I think the thing that you guys might be able to see today, the video that Matthew put out about the adjusted list and about the reasons behind it. One of the things that Matt spoke to me about was that he really likes to see the deck building aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh, and the players enjoy it too.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's just when we were having the Pepe deck come out, it was just a matter of there was no conversation. The deck building aspect, it's usually some kind of conversation between the players.
Yeah.
This deck's good, this deck's good, this deck's not good, all that kind of stuff. And usually over the course of the format, we see those decks evolve. But it was just a matter of, no, this is the best deck. 29 out of 32 players in Atlanta played it, and they made the top cut. There was just no questions. It was absolutely just, no questions at all.
All right. So Ur is already hard at work applying pressure. He's not wasting any time here. Very explosive opening. And he's still not done.
No, he's
he
opened
just
crazy.
Keeps going.
He opened crazy right now.
And this time he does have like almost a full extra deck already.
Yeah, he's just going to keep going. He's already pendulum summoned because he pendulum summoned the Pendulum Sorcerer.
Yep.
However, hold the phone. He might be able to make an Naturia Beast here, otherwise he wouldn't have searched for Palamura. If he's not already pendulum summoned, then we're definitely... okay, instant fusion. He's not normal summoned yet. Okay, this is interesting. You might be able to play Norden and then with instant fusion and then get back the Pendulum Sorcerer. Or Soul Charge, that works too. So he's going to Soul Charge the...
Yeah, he's
Pendulum
got like
Sorcerer.
15 options, it seems.
There's more than 7 ways to Sunday right now, and he's going to go into the Naturia Beast.
Oof.
Here we go.
That's
Here we go.
a really good card against Monarchs.
I'm a little bit disappointed it's not dual terminal, but we can't have it all. Here we go.
Yeah, but wait,
Don't
there's
stop
more.
there.
But wait, there's
Don't
more.
stop there. Keep going. See, just think right now, this would have been Ptolemaeus.
Quite honestly, I would hate to be Cherry in this situation right now.
That would have been a Ptolemaeus, and we'd have seen him
honestly,
finish.
you fought so hard for the first match. You spent like 30 minutes assembling all the combos of the Monarchs, putting your opponent in a lock, and then you're like, all right, I got this. I might make it to the top 32. I'm still in this tournament. Then you like just watch him.
Yeah.
His first move on the second game, and you're like, yes,
That's
1-1 then?
I'm calling it now. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
That's that like Naturia Beast. What do we see from Jerry here?
Yeah,
Jerry does have Edia, but and what we've got Traptrix Refresher on the field.
wow, that's like one of the most explosive openings, one of the
Yeah.
biggest lockdowns we've ever seen.
Yeah,
That's definitely a highlight if ever there was one this weekend.
Yeah. So here's Treacherous Trapple from the deck.
Yeah,
Edia's effect being
because that is fair.
yeah. So Edia's effect being completely ignored here.
That's even better than an Effect Veiler. Because we talked about this yesterday when we said, yeah, Ada is really good, but Effect Veiler can really stop it. No, there's an even better option.
So
and that is it. Wow,
Yeah.
1-1 after just like, I don't know, 2 minutes of playtime.
Yep.
Ur Kovacic tying the score, and now it's 1-1 between Cherian and Ur Kovacic. Oof. Wow, that was something. Like yesterday we seen the power of the Draco Pals with Ali Favas in round 7.
Yeah.
Winning quickly and convincingly in just 2 games, actually.
Just think about what this deck would be like if it had 3 Jokers and 3 Monkey Bots.
Yeah, if this was your first experience with Draco Pals and you're like, oh, that was pretty good, and then somebody's telling you, yeah, by the way, it was like a lot better before.
Yeah.
You're like, wow,
Yeah.
that's just crazy.
Yeah. As soon as he went for Palamura, I was like, what, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And there's a question. Sorcerer is not a beast material, is what some players are saying here on the Twitch chat. It should go to extra deck rather than graveyard. But it seems to be a little bit of a discussion whether that was incorrect or not. It was detached.
Yeah,
Pendulums go to grave when synchroed.
Yes, yeah, when detached.
When detached, yeah. I think this is one of these issues where we have.
Hold on, yeah, when he instant fusioned for Refresher, I think.
Right.
Did it go to the extra deck?
Well, the other question.
Yeah, okay, it was Refresher, but still, yeah.
Does it make a difference?
Yeah, I think it does.
All right, so we're not 100% sure about that.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah. It should have gone to the extra deck when it got synchro summoned with Palamura. Yeah, that is correct. So we wouldn't have seen Refresher.
Oh, okay.
To be honest. Okay, well. Still, the Naturia Beast would have stopped a lot of stuff during that turn.
Right. Last game, interestingly enough, Upstart Goblins have not been sided out, even though we are like 5 minutes to time. And Cherry giving his opponent Ur the upper hand when it comes to life points. And now we've got a T on the table. I think that's telling us it's time in the round. And considering that, I don't agree with leaving the emergency teleport, not the emergency, the Upstart Goblins in the deck.
Yeah, well, I think in the Monarch deck you just have to... You have to do it because you need the consistency.
All right.
But yeah, that's yeah. So people are a little bit confused. So I'm just going to explain that once more. So yeah, we did see Soul Charge on the Pendulum Sorcerer, which was then synchroed using with Palamura, and Palamura would have gone to the graveyard, and the Pendulum Sorcerer would have gone to the extra deck. Now we then saw the Pendulum Sorcerer go to the graveyard. Which it shouldn't have done, and then it got Nordened back onto the field and used as Exceed material. So that shouldn't have been in the graveyard.
Right. So it does actually make quite a big difference.
Quite a big difference, yeah, because you wouldn't have been able to see Treacherous Trapple.
Yeah, the thing is, all of that happened so fast.
It was very quick. I mean, both players just kind of, because Jerry did have more options after the what happened at the end there.
Yeah.
So, you know. Oh well, they're under a lot of pressure, these players. Yeah.
All right. So this weekend there's not going to be that much confusion in which turn we are going to be.
Yeah. So that's turn 1 of time.
That is, yes. And
yeah, I actually forgot to tell you about this. We didn't discuss this, but yeah, they made little turn counters.
Well, it's very intuitive, so I don't think there was a need to really do that.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go. So that's turn 1.
Pretty good opening for Ur.
Yeah. Well,
on his first
Massive
turn.
Restrict.
Yeah. It's kind of like a floodgate, even though the Monarchs are not like known for summoning lots and lots of monsters in one turn, which is usually what a Floodgate is trying to prevent.
Yep.
But it does stop them from, well, tribute summoning, which is
Yeah.
even more important.
I think is taking the tactic here of just attacking. Let's just attack.
Right.
Good, nothing fancy. No, nothing fancy. I don't want to get hit by any big trap cards. Just going to attack.
All right, there's Sephiroth again.
Yep. So.
And the True Monarch is coming down.
Yeah, but still, he's not allowed to use that for a tribute summon.
Yep.
I think he's just using it as a blocker there.
Yeah, well, which also works.
Yeah, big body behind there. But Jerry still is much lower on life points because of those upstart goblins.
Yep.
And at this point, so as I was saying, he's just choosing to just attack, just get some attacks going.
Yeah, it's not the weirdest thing we've seen this weekend.
No.
That was probably the ancient fairy dust in the Draco Pal deck, where he would go for a beatdown option, and it actually worked in one game.
Yeah.
Didn't work the first time. We were like, I'm not sure if this is a good strategy, but the second time it did work.
So we've got Key Beetle protecting Restrict there.
Right. Third turn of the extra time. So this is crunch time for Cherry.
Yeah, so he's going to teleport in blue layer most likely to get the red layer. Cherry seems to be really nervous now. He's got very, very nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's shuffling his cards really fast and just playing his cards too fast.
Yeah, which is interesting because, I mean, now they are in time. That doesn't mean that you can't just take forever to play your moves, but it's not like you're getting closer to time and you have to play really fast.
Yeah, I mean, they're in time right now, and I'm not saying they should be playing slowly.
Yeah, but you can take a little bit of time.
Take a bit more time than what he's taking right now.
Yeah, it gives you a feeling of he just wants this to be over.
Yeah.
Which is not the right way to approach this.
No, especially in the situation that these guys are in.
Yeah. But it's interesting to see how these games are always being dominated by one card, with the first game, Domain of the True Monarchs, the third game now, Mask of Restrict. There are these one-card answers, these silver bullets.
Yeah.
Well, Domain of the True Monarchs can hardly be called a silver bullet.
Yeah. But it's all about targeting the decks that you're playing and giving those decks the hard time using those cards. So it's just big weaknesses to decks.
All right, there's a Domain of the True Monarchs. Is there any way he can fight through Mask of Restrict?
Yeah, I don't see where he's going with this.
Yeah, it seems like this speedy play.
What?
He played a Domain of the True Monarchs and then he played a second one.
Ah, to reduce its level to level 4,
that's quite interesting play.
Yeah.
However, the bottomless trap hole is foiling that plan.
Yeah.
Banishing that monster.
Yeah, that was a good idea. That was a really good idea, actually.
We haven't seen that before.
No.
But what's left now? Like, what else can Cherry do?
I think that might be it.
That might be it.
Especially considering
almost 4,000 life points is the gap between those two.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot.
Yes, quite a lot.
Let's just say that's a lot. All right. Ur did draw into a treacherous trap hole, which is now for the first time a dead card with bottomless in his graveyard.
Yeah, you can always go ahead and set it. And so you can see here that Ur is absolutely playing. You can always tell when someone, the way that he's attacking with his monsters and things like that, just the way that he's conducting himself in the game. He's absolutely just thinking, right, I just need to be as I am right now, and I should be fine.
Yeah. Right. This is the we're entering the last turn of by Jerry.
Yeah. So this is the last turn of the game. He needs to inflict 3,851 damage to win the game.
Yeah, but even then, Ur would have another turn.
No, I think that's it.
Oh no, yeah,
Yeah.
we're not getting there anyway.
Yeah.
Jerry realized that is it for him.
Oh,
And
another
oof, the
Mask
next
of
card,
Restrict.
another Mask of Restrict.
Yeah.
Way rubbing it in.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, that was quite the comeback for Ur. But as you guys noticed on the stream, there was a misplay in that second game.
Yeah.
Um,
Neither of the players noticed, and it's
yeah, I think it was too much of a shock, and Jerry was already thinking ahead. How am I gonna come back from this? And thinking about his place in the next turn, I think.
yeah. It was one of those, just here's my board deal.
Yeah.
Like, by the time Naturia Beast had come out, I think they'd already thought, oh, that's
That's it.
that's too much.
And then you start entering this mode where you're like, okay, how can I come back from this?
Yeah, what can I do? What can I do?
Right.
Especially when you see Naturia Beast, you're going to think to yourself like, oh, how am I going to deal with that? And then that's all you're thinking about.
Yeah.
And then your opponent just comes out with the Reflacia as well, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm done. And
All right. So
move to the
Draco
next game.
Performapal
Yeah.
being successful in this round.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the other matches at the very top in round 8. So let's bring that up for you guys, where we see these are the first 5 tables. These are the guys that are undefeated at this point in time. Well, no longer at this point in time. They were undefeated 40 minutes ago, we know a couple of these guys. Almost on every table, there's at least one player that we've heard of. Long Dao, of course, won a YCS before. Ali Favas made the top 8 a couple of times. Jay Quincy, top 8 more than I can count. Didn't win that often. That's a little bit easier to count.
Yeah.
And then Umhut Sarin and Valon Letertre, last year's champion with Burning Abyss, still going strong, still in the field, undefeated. No, actually he's X1 because Umhut is X1. And if we go just a little bit to the next 5 tables, more famous players. It's really a star-studded field at the very top. So you guys can look forward to some of the matches that we're going to bring you. And if you're interested in seeing what's happening at the top of the standings, we only have a couple of 6 players, in fact, that remain undefeated. And after that, it's everybody with an X1 record. So we don't have the tiebreakers here, but as you can tell, it's a very close affair. Let's go down a little bit. Of course, that's a little bit outdated by now because we have the results of round 8 for the most part, but we can only show you those once we got all the results in. All right. What do we want to see for the next round? What would be your favorite match?
Well, I want to see some more of the bubble matches. Let's see, who's gonna.
Well, there is of course the chance that we're gonna see one of these 2 guys.
Yeah, we could see who won from our previous.
Erhan was having the Phantom Knights.
That'd be
his
nice
opponent didn't show up, so there's a chance that we might get to see Erhan in the next round.
Yeah,
would have been nice for him, really, getting handed that easy victory.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
We're gonna try and talk to Ur in just a second, do a short interview. So we're gonna take a very short break, and then we're gonna be right back with the winner of our round 8 feature match.
It's time to tool. It's time to tool. It's time to now's the time. Now's the time. Hey, while you were pondering the ozone, I'm trying to get into the end zone. You won't be anything without the chips. Your lips are quivering. The time has come. Time to do. Now get serious. Time to do. Time to do.
Hello guys, welcome back to YCS Prague 2016. I'm here with to talk about the match. So how was it? How was it? This is your first time in the feature match area as well, right?
It's first time till 2010.
Right,
back
okay.
In Milan, I was
Okay.
featured for the first time and the last time.
Right, okay. So how was it? How's it changed since then?
It was all writing on computer back then, and
yeah, it's all just written coverage.
now it's really different, really more amazing.
Yeah, we've got a good setup here. It's a shame we can't just like take people around and have a look that are actually on the stream watching us. So let's get straight to it. So a lot of the people in the chat were talking about this play that you made.
Yes.
I just mentioned it to you before we went on camera now, and you had no idea.
No.
I think it was just one of those really high-pressure situations.
Yep.
It was only 3 minutes till time,
Yeah.
and yeah, so that was incorrect, but you
Sorry,
know,
I
it
didn't
is what
see
it
it.
is. Yeah, no, it's no problem.
was,
It's a high-pressure situation.
Yes.
The judges as well, they were worrying about time. You were worrying about time.
It was
you know,
only
things
3
happen.
minutes. We were really in a hurry and
Yeah.
siding.
Yeah,
We had like 20 seconds to side.
to side deck, yeah.
I only take out my upstarts
Yeah.
in time and
Yeah, whereas Jerry left them in as well.
Yes.
Which put you straight
he
up to
activated too. And
10,000 life points straight away. I think, to be honest, leaving them in Monarchs probably makes sense because you really need the consistency.
Yes.
But, you know, you can take them out and happily just like put in something like Twin Twisters, Maxis, whatever.
Yes.
So I can see in your side deck here, you know, it's been, in recent years, people have been side decking extra deck cards. That only recently has become a thing in the past few years. Why did you decide to take up 2 of your side deck spaces with extra deck cards?
I usually don't do this because
Oh, you
side
don't?
deck is so important for me. 15 is, but in this deck you actually can't side more than 3 or 4 cards in a single matchup because it
Breaks
destroys consistency of the deck. And
Yeah.
so I have space for like two extra deck cards, and also
Yeah.
extra deck is really full. I can't take anything out.
No.
It's needed and necessary.
Yeah.
And this is only good in specific matchup.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in a mirror match
yeah,
and Monarch
Monarchs.
and the Monarch.
Yeah. So what do you take out of your extra deck? So it's full here. I wish we could just show it on stream, but you know, what do you actually take out of your extra deck when you need to put these in?
When I go against Monarch, I usually put both in, as
Yep.
you saw, and Key Beetle and Beast, and take out Nightmare.
Yeah. Evil
And
Swarm Nightmare.
Yes, it was from Nightmare and Stardust, because under Mask of Restrict you even can't tribute Stardust Dragon.
Yeah.
When I go in Mirror Match, I side only in the Turia Beast when I go first,
Yeah.
and only 1 card Palomero, and I side out Dweller.
Dweller. Yeah,
Yes.
because that's not as useful against your own deck. So let's have a look at your main deck here. So a lot of people are trying way more Trapals, not just Treacherous and Bottomless Trapple.
Yeah.
Like some of people are playing other Trapple cards. Did you test doing that? Or?
Yes, but we are focused on combo cards. They are all the cards in the deck, if you look at the deck list,
Yeah.
are combo cards, except Bottomless, Treacherous, and the Shadow Dragon.
Yeah.
Yes, every other card is a combo
Yeah,
card,
it's a combo
piece, and
Yeah.
you need a consistency. When you start with 5 cards, you want to start with 5 cards.
Mhm.
You need a consistency, and you can't afford to
Yeah.
draw 2 or more.
Yeah. So you just didn't like the idea of drawing these.
No,
So
I don't like to
you,
see it.
You wanted to play it the least amount of traps possible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really strange that, again, in recent years we've had decks that are really, really powerful but have to play like 1 or 2 cards they just
Yes.
don't want to draw ever.
Yep.
So like in Monarchs, you really don't want to draw Kuraz, really, because you want to summon it off
Yep.
Ether. Again, so Shadow Dragon, I don't know if that's just me, but I've not seen many builds that were playing Shadow Dragon unless it is this like full dark build. So why did you decide to go with this build? You know, with the Shadow Dragon and Armageddon Knight. Why
As
did
you
you play
see,
that one?
It's really powerful when you can go first.
Mhm.
Evil Swarm Nightmare, in my opinion, is the best card in the mirror match and also another matchups. And it makes Key Beetle in game 2 easily. But the most importantly, it's searchable out to Monarch Field Spell and to other problems. Also Anti-Spell Fragrance.
Yeah.
The cards you just can't out.
Yeah, yeah.
As you see, I don't play much destruction. Only 1 Twin Twister and
Twin
1
Twisters.
Mystical Space Typhoon. This
Yeah.
really not.
Yeah,
much.
but obviously you've got reinforcements there, and you're playing to Armageddon Knight, so you can always send Shadow Dragon. Bit like during Necros format when we had the sending of the Djinn.
Yes.
Like a lot of people started playing Armageddon Knight just to get it
Yeah,
even quicker.
But honestly, I don't play Armageddon Knight because of Shadow Dragon. Zephy is
yeah, Zephy as
far
well.
more
Yeah,
powerful, and you use it
Yeah.
every time in first turn.
yeah. So you can reuse it for like Monkey Board. And we even saw Turn Toad actually
Yes.
helped you win it helped you get ahead in one of the games.
Yes.
Can't remember if you won that game. You
Turn
got
Toad,
ahead definitely.
Is here because of Monarchs.
Yeah, because you can just swap the Monarchs around and then attack
Such a
into it.
blow to field spell somehow.
Yeah, kind of. I see it. Yeah, I see what you mean. So that's great. So were you here last Prague? Were you here in YCS Prague last year?
No.
No.
The
Okay. How are
only-
you enjoying it?
Prague is really nice city.
Yeah, I wasn't here last year either. But I've really enjoyed the city. It's been quite nice. So what's your record now?
6-1-1.
6-1-1. Okay, so still got a really good chance to get into the top 32.
Need to win both.
Yeah, well, you just got to power. Right, so thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you, Tim.
And good luck in the rest of your matches. Guys, we're going to be right back with some more great matches. And, yeah, see you soon.
No more introductions are needed. Let's take you straight to the table where these two guys are getting ready to get their game on for one last time at Rimini in the first YCS of the season.
It is the final time to duel.
Oh, we almost see some athletic training here from our volunteers in the back. But no, Ryan could contain himself this time.
Right, okay. So I've talked about these deck lists and clowns and blue monsters.
Yeah, if you've been following the stream, there's a very good chance that you know the insides of this deck better than, well, anybody else, really. If you've never played this deck, you will still know how it works because you've seen it in action so many times.
Yeah. So
Also, if you just happen to tune in and you have missed a few games, you can always check out almost everything that we have produced over the weekend on YouTube. Apart from like the last 1 or 2 matches, everything has already been uploaded to YouTube on the official Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG channel for Europe. There's a link to that below the Twitch stream, so you can always rewatch that instead of complaining about us showing the same matches on the Twitch stream in between matches. That would be really nice. Okay, we got the two hands of these guys. Andrea Zanotti on the right. You can take a quick look at his hand. And kicking things off is going to be Lorenzo Santoni on the left.
yeah. So immediately you can see that he has opened up with Exa, Enforcer of the Necros. That's not good. It's not what you want to see in your opening hand. However, if he does manage to make a Valkyris play here, then he can soon tribute that off to draw a card for Valkyris. That's going to be very important here. Very important.
Right, what I don't understand at the moment is that he's having Manju on the field and 5 more cards in hand. So...
Yeah, but that's okay, because Manju is +1.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean after that?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't search for Manju yet.
Yeah, maybe the double unicorn is actually a single one.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes that happens really quickly. Is it correct now?
Yeah.
Yeah, now that works. All right, there we go.
So we drop Maxi here.
Yeah,
Bottom
Andrea
up.
dropped Maxi, so Lorenzo is probably not going to go super nuts.
Yep. He's probably going to end his turn by just tributing off his monsters here.
Right, he doesn't want to, even though it would be cool to get rid of the Exa in his hand,
Yep.
he wants to get rid of his field. Sounds very controversial. Why would I want to get rid of my own field? Well, the answer is Trishula.
So he actually tributes both Exa and the Great Sorcerer, which is going to allow him to go and search for a dragon and for a spellcaster Necros monster. That is insane.
Wow, so many searches going on. And do you think is it a good idea to play Droll Lockbird in the main deck?
Well, yeah, it's a good idea if you know that you're playing only Necros, but I think people came in here not expecting just pure Necros.
Yeah.
So looking at both of these players, both of them have been running deck lockdown.
Oh, wow, that is it. I think the 6th card could be explained by Andrea going first and just passing play.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, because he did have
That
like
makes sense.
such an abysmal hand, so to speak, and so he just passed play, hoping that he would see another turn. Lorenzo
Wow.
just unleashes everything, and that is 1-0 in the finals of YCS Rimini.
The first YCS of the year, and I've been going on about this because this means we have a new prize card.
Oh yes,
These players are competing for the first ultra rare Minerva.
Speaking of Minerva, a very different version of that card as a
Yes.
super-sized card.
Yeah, I was just walking through the hall and I noticed my friend Marcelo, who we've had on stream a couple of times over this weekend, was just walking along with a Minerva, and it was about 10 times the size of it.
Yeah.
So I walked over there and he was like, "Oh look, Luke, look, I've got a Minerva." I was like, "Oh, okay, I see."
Yeah, it's one of the few ways how to get that card.
Yeah.
And yeah, but unfortunately you cannot play it in a duel.
Yes.
Even
Well, actually, it doesn't say that you can't.
Yeah, I saw that these new giant cards are only having the information that this is a limited edition in the lower left corner.
Yeah.
So it no longer has the restriction you cannot play this card in a duel.
Yeah.
So if Marcelo Barberi is playing against you in the next local tournament or something and he's coming with a gigantic card next to him, here's some spoiler alert for you. He's gonna play Minerva.
I wonder if he can get one of the sleeve creation companies to produce a sleeve for it.
Yeah.
Or even a top loader, maybe. That would be rather expensive.
All right. So 1-0 in the finals of YC3 Mini after just one, I don't know, 2 turns basically.
Yeah. Well,
And the first turn was just a pass.
It was a first turn
Yeah,
win there by
talk about an explosive win.
Lorenzo. So we're just seeing side decking shuffling up.
Yeah. And is there anything in the side decks?
These-
I've been
these-
asking this question all weekend.
These deck lockdowns are going to cause so many issues. If but basically deck lockdown, I roughly know what it does, but I'm gonna get the exact card text. I'm gonna do a prediction on this because Ollie's looking for it for me. It's a continuous spell card, and then during the second standby phase after activation, it's destroyed. Your own second standby phase after activation is destroyed, and it says neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them.
Yeah, it also says monsters cannot be special summoned from the main deck.
Ah, yes,
This is the other thing. And basically, it's a card against gladiator beasts.
yes,
But it's not too bad against certain other archetypes.
no.
All right, we're assuming that Lorenzo Santoni went first. This time that would make sense according to the count of cards. He starts with a Manju of 10,000 hands. He's got 9,000 more than the others.
Yeah, that's a lot of hands.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's just going to pass. And Andrea is going to throw out an OTK here. And what is he going to go for here? This time he's not going to assemble a gigantic field, because he cannot attack, of course.
Nope.
This is now the tribute action that you mentioned before.
Yeah, so he's probably gonna either make a rank 4 play, which is probably not the intention here. He's probably just going to tribute both of Valkyrus and Manju, or he is gonna, yeah, it's either that or make a rank 4 play. So the preparation of rights is probably gonna go get Clausulus, which is gonna get a, he's gonna obviously return the cycle from his graveyard, and he's gonna go and get a Necros Kaleidoscope with that Clausulus, so that he can summon his Unicorn and start producing some of these Exceed plays. So the likelihood of him going for like a Daigusto Emerald is quite high.
Mm-hmm. And Andrea Zanotti doesn't have a maxi this time around.
Nope, so he can absolutely go to town. Necros Town.
Yeah. This is a blue town
Mm-hmm.
at the coast of Italy.
It's blue.
And here we go. Second Valkyrus being added to the hand.
Yep.
Is this your desired opening?
Yeah, I think that this is 100% the opening that you want now. Apart from you'd really like that Emerald to be a Lable Chain, but apart from that, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, he detaches Manju there. That's quite strange. That's in fact really, really strange. Usually you detach the Unicorn so that you can use that Unicorn again. That's really weird. Yeah, I'm not going to question him. He's in the finals of OYCS.
Yeah. He's gonna shuffle it back with the effect of Daigusto Emerald.
Yeah. maybe he was wanting to keep that so that he can use the Necros of Unicorn as fodder for Valkyrus. Like when it gets tributed using the Valkyrus's effect, and then he's got another Valkyrus in hand to use the other effect to defend. Maybe that's the desired course of action here.
Right. Let's see if we can see the new cards that Lorenzo Santoni drew into.
Yeah. So he's already got like a reasonably great hand. Oh, he just drew deck lockdown. Okay.
So basically, it's a little bit like Vanity's Emptiness in him assembling his field, then activating that card and
Yeah.
denying his opponent
Yeah.
doing the same thing.
We always refer back to the Arkham Dragon format, in which you would summon all your stuff, your Stardust Dragon, etc., and then just flip up Royal Oppression and say to your opponent, no, you can't do what I just did, because now there's Royal Oppression on the field. This is exactly the same kind of thing here. You produce a field which your opponent can't get out of while under this certain lock, and in this case, deck lockdown is going to be putting that pressure on.
Okay, let's bring that card up for you guys.
Yeah, and it actually is just a deck with lots of locks on.
Yeah, very, very good job by the artist there. He understood what the card is supposed to look like.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, you can just look at the card and know what it's supposed to do. Yep. So that's quite funny, because not many people have been playing the deck lockdown. There's been a few, but not that much. So Andre here might just be thinking, oh, you stole my strategy.
Yeah. And he's also not going to be happy with this.
Yep. So let's have a look at his hand here.
Reinforcement doesn't do anything.
He could...
Clausulus doesn't do anything.
No, he can't. He can normal summon Damage Juggler and then special summon Hat Tricker and then go into a 101, take the Valkyrus, and then
If he plays it.
attack.
Because we've seen that a couple of
Yeah,
times.
I'll cast Castell either.
Yeah,
That's fine.
he's going with Castell instead, or he has to go with Castell instead. Because like many other players, he didn't find the space in his...
Oh, or he's actually put deck lockdown back. That's quite ironic, really. So, yeah, he's got rid of that deck lockdown, which opens up a world of possibilities for Andrea now. Let's see here, what can he do?
So now he's going to go
Necrocycle?
searching. Not just a little.
Oh, this is interesting. I'm pretty sure he's able to play Cycle, Pitch Shrit, summon Decisive Armor, or
Clausulus.
Costless. Yeah, maybe he's saving the Decisive Armor, and then go get Trishula, or get Bryanak, get Trishula, and then Mirror, Banish Shrit, summon Trishula, play Trishula's effect.
Yeah, you were saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens for some magical reason. Wow.
That's the best play.
This is some back and forth right there. With Andrea Zanotti.
Wow, that's a good shot.
Fighting back after that first game that was over on the very first turn of Lorenzo Santoni. Now he can go swinging. But
I think the only actual redeeming factor here is the fact that Lorenzo will be able to banish that Great Sorcerer if he has a Valkyrus in his hand.
he does have a Valkyrus, yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to banish that Great Sorcerer and get its effect.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a spoiler right there.
But still,
yeah.
that was quite impressive. And he also has Necros of Decisive Armor. Now that's quite an important thing here, because he can just throw down that Necros of Decisive Armor whenever he feels like it.
Right.
So if his opponent thinks, okay, well, I'm just going to Trish your Trish, then he can just throw down the Necros of Decisive Armor. His opponent's Trishul's effect doesn't resolve. And this is something that I really should know. When does the Decisive Armor's effect run out? Is it during his end? Is it during the end phase of that turn?
Well, we can look that up.
Yeah. So yeah, target one.
Until the end of this turn.
Until it was just, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was, but I was unsure because that'd have been an even more immaculate play
Yeah.
because
All right.
then Trishula wouldn't be able to be run over that turn or the turn after.
So Lorenzo tries to come back with a Senju.
Yeah. So
Goes
it's the
searching.
very basic Necros play here to play Kaleidoscope, send Herald of the Arclight, also bolstered by a Senju.
To get
Surging.
a Unicorn.
Yep.
And that opens him to the rank 4 place.
Yep. So, but still, he may be in the realms of thinking, oh, well, he must have like another mirror in hand or something, or it's some monster that he can't use. He's probably not thinking too much about Decisive Armor right now.
But if he had another mirror, wouldn't he have said it?
Yeah, so another mirror, yeah, that was complete rubbish. If he had another monster that he can't use, then
Yeah.
that's more likely. Way more likely, in fact.
All right. But still, so far, he's not going for Trishula. He's instead going, well, the Senju that we mentioned, the Unicorn, and now a Valkyrus. That is also quite the field. These two are not holding back at all. Not pulling any punches.
No.
In a wild exchange. There's a Necros mirror.
Yeah, I think so. It's quite strange here. It is the finals. They're under quite a lot of pressure here. Both players seem to be going very aggressive, just throwing these ritual spells down here. So
Yeah, sometimes we see that the best way for them to combat the feeling of being super nervous is to just like play as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And not think too much about what
Yeah.
they're doing.
I think particularly for Lorenzo, he's a massive advantage here because he can choose to play to win because he's won the first game. He can just go all out and see what happens. Now, I think we're going to end up here with Andrea with nothing left.
Welcome back to the coverage of YCS Prague 2016. We are excited. You can tell, our technical staff can tell, and their heads just exploded. Sorry for that. Because we're so excited. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Round 9 it is. And we looked at the pairings. At the very top of the field, there's lots and lots of Draco Performer Pal, lots of Monarch, and some Cosmo. I would say that the other two decks are represented a lot more, slightly more often. We do have the odd Atlantean or Mermaid deck and Phantom Knights in there, but for the most part, it is Draco Performer Pal.
Actually, Lucian
Hauer, we had yesterday.
We had him yesterday, and he's up there. He is on
Table 9. Table 6, yes, round 9, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, so that looks quite like something.
Yeah.
That's a good topic. Let's talk about the deck breakdown. Let's try and bring that up for you guys. The deck breakdown at the start of yesterday. This was our initial deck breakdown, and as you can tell, lots of other decks, lots of rogue decks. This is the most interesting buy, in my opinion, because this one is going to change the most.
Yeah,
you can see Draco Performer Pal in the lead, and then Monarch and Cosmo.
Yeah. So this was the absolutely raw breakdown of what walked through the door as we started YCS Prague.
Let's compare that to round 5. This is after 4 rounds, so everybody with an 0-3 drop, everybody with an 1-3 drop got out of the tournament, and you can see Cosmo catching up a little bit to Monarchs. Other than that, not much change, to be honest. The overall trend is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And
we swapped around during just one of the rounds, I remember. But we might not.
I think that was the very next round.
Yeah.
After round 5, they were 147 and 146. Let's look at the breakdown at the start of today.
Oh wow! So they've actually swapped around again.
Yes.
Cosmo
so
second.
Cosmo was a good choice if you wanted to make day 2. The rogue decks apparently not so much.
Nope. The other category shrinking rapidly going into the day 2.
And this is our most recent breakdown. You can expect all of these decks to, like, the whole thing to lose around 20% every round now because so many players are dropping.
Yeah.
Now that they can't make the top 32 again after another loss. And this is really where we're going to see a very clear picture of which decks have been the best choice.
Yeah. So we still see some of these lesser known decks, so let's say lesser known, Burning Abyss, Atlanteans, Phantom Knights, kind of still keeping up their numbers.
Yeah,
as far as relativity is concerned, Phantom Knights have actually kept it up really well.
Yeah, only 14 players started with Phantom Knights, 5 of them still in the field. Burning Abyss, we had 33 at the beginning, still having 14. So those 2 decks have been a good choice.
Yeah.
Mermaids, quite honestly, not so much. They went from 80 to just 11. So Burning
Yeah.
Abyss catching up with them proves that Burning Abyss was definitely a better choice than Mermaid this
Yeah.
weekend.
As we know from the European Championships, we had that really strange occurrence where it was Necros,
Yeah.
absolutely sea of
Yes.
Necros, and then we just had like Shadow players just
Yeah.
sneaking in. Not many of them.
Yeah.
Not many of them, wasn't a lot. Just sneaking in there and just being able to defeat all the
Yeah.
Necros decks. So that could be the same case here.
We could see that this weekend, yes.
Yeah.
For this match, or for this round's feature match, we picked, it's almost a classic at this point, of
Yeah.
Draco Performer Pal versus Monarch. One of the most common matchups we see this weekend. Another bubble match, so if you lose, you're out. If you win, you're not guaranteed in, but you can make the top 32.
Yeah.
At this point in time, Stefano Memoli, a former European champion,
Yeah.
former world champion? No, European champion.
European champion. Yeah.
Is in 43rd place. So he's very close to locking himself up for the top 32, but he needs to win. And Shafak Shahin is like a few places just behind him.
Yeah.
Who's playing what? We got
So Memoli's playing the Performer Pal
Draco
deck,
Performer Pal, yeah.
and
Shafak is playing the
Yeah.
Monarchs. Do we have anything super specific here? Anything out of the ordinary?
it's really hard to read these lists because they're in Italian.
Yeah, we've actually seen that earlier where we had one deck list that was listed as other in our app. So we thought, okay, he's playing one of the rogue decks, one of the interesting decks. We got our hands on the deck list and it was the classical Draco Performer Pal just with 3 different languages.
Yeah.
So he had a couple of Performer Pals, a couple of Künstlerkumpel, which is a German word, and then we had a couple of Italian Performer Pals, I don't even know the name. So it just
mix it
looked
up.
like it was super creative.
Yeah, so in Stefano Memoli's deck, he's playing Horn of Heaven, actually, in Draco
Oh.
Pals, which is a little bit strange. Usually you only play that in Burning Abyss.
Hmm.
But,
Might work for him.
yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't know if he's playing Ariadne because it's in Italian. I can only assume so if he's playing this
It
number
would,
of
it would definitely
counter
make
traps.
sense.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we don't want to keep you waiting too much, so let's take you to the feature match table where Shafak is sitting on the left and Stefano is sitting on the right. There you have them.
Yeah.
And Shafak is actually listed as Magician Pendulum, not as Draco Performer Pal. Magician Pendulum is definitely not correct, right? He's playing Monarchs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a mix-up right there. Don't get too confused. Shafak is playing Monarchs.
We'll see if we can get that corrected. And that answers my question quite swiftly, that
Yes.
he is playing Ariadne.
Yeah.
So we know what that card does by now. When it gets destroyed, it gets to activate its effect. You show your opponent 3 counter traps from your deck. As well, yeah, obviously Luster's going to add back the Ariadne from the deck, and you get to show your opponent 3 counter traps, and they have to pick one, and that gets added to your hand. Now that's just really good, especially with Luster Pendulum. So Luster Pendulum, you can only play one copy of that card nowadays, and that's actually a really fantastic opener there.
But we haven't seen that ever this weekend. Is there a reason why it's not that popular with many of the other players?
I think from the people I spoke to during Friday, a lot of people were saying that they didn't want to play the Ariadne build.
Right.
They were just saying, oh no, it's inconsistent, all this kind of stuff, and yeah, it's just, the success seems to be in playing it. But again, that might possibly be that it's just, that the people who have, there's been a lot of people trying the Ariadne build and people getting lucky. Because
Yeah.
it's a very lucky combination of cards to get because, Luster, you're only allowed one of them. But at the same time, if you're playing 3 Ariadnes, then, you can get to them quite quickly.
All right. So, again, a very big opening from the Draco Performer Pals. They never really pass with just like one play or something. They always do a couple of them.
Yeah.
And first, Stefano is doing all of his searching, and then he's going to play his Upstart Goblin. That is definitely the right order.
Yeah, it's always the right order, especially when you unless you're going to search for a combo piece, then, potentially you want to upstart Goblin to see what you've got. first. If you upstart Goblin and then you can pick the other combo piece that you would have needed, then that's another way of going about it. Definitely in this situation, upstart Goblin last would be the best option. So
Right.
there we go. So Draco face-off resolved. We put Master Pendulum in the extra deck and Vector on the field. So it's just a level 4 monster. We've still not normal summoned. Mamoli still has the Ariadne in hand, as well as the Horn of Heaven that he searched from the other Ariadne. He also has Lizard Draw, which is pretty useless right now. But here goes a painful decision.
Yeah, the painful choice that we had yesterday
Yeah.
in our app. Somebody's like, "Oh, painful
So
choice."
he sends Master Pendulum to the graveyard to add a Master Pendulum to hand. Yo.
Yeah, it's one of these cards that at first when you read it, you're like, nah, doesn't look that
seems
good
strange.
because you're losing 2 cards and you just get 1 back.
Yeah. But putting Pendulum monsters in the graveyard isn't necessarily a bad thing. You can, people are playing Soul Charge. Let's see, is he playing Soul Charge? Okay, he's not playing Soul Charge. He's playing 2 copies of Painful Decision, which is good. So let's see why he decides to go. He's still not Pendulum summoned.
Yeah,
He's
actually-
done all this stuff and he's still not Pendulum summoned.
Actually, you're just losing 1 card, of course, the painful decision itself, because it's been sent from the deck. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's still kind of early.
here's the Pendulum. So he pens 3 here.
There is, by the way, an Effect Veiler waiting in Shafak's hand. Has there been a situation where it would make sense to
No, not
activate?
yet. There's
Not really.
3 normal monsters on the field.
Yeah, it's quite the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, the only target really is that Ariadne, and that's not there's not much use of to effect veil that. Its effect activates when it's in the grave. Well, actually, so I think Ariadne's effect as well when it's in the pendulum zone is it allows you to not pay for costs of counter
you
traps.
do not pay LPs to activate counter trap cards.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Horn of Heaven is a monster tribute, but still,
Yeah.
that's good. So we're going to see a synchro summon here. Oh, not necessarily synchro. No, he's going into the big purple one. Can never remember its name. Dinosaur, yeah, the Dino Slayer. I always forget it's a dinosaur. Yeah, so Dino Slayer, the Draco Slayer.
Dinos the power.
Yeah. That's just a big body to put on the field, and it allows you to revive your Draco Slayer monsters.
So maybe Shafak is going to drop Effect Veiler now. It looks like he's thinking
Potentially.
about
He does look like he's thinking about
it,
it.
but he didn't.
Yeah, he decided against it.
All right.
This is probably going to go into Magister. And then Magister's going to detach, potentially. So Magister allows you to... It triggers now, and then in the end phase, you actually resolve the effect. So he's going to effect that
the
now.
Effect Veiler, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure Dynasty's got another effect. Cards in your monster zones, pendulum monster cards in your monster zones and pendulum zones can't be destroyed by battle or opponent's card effects. Now, that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And this is very important, is that it's opponent's card effects. So you can still play your own Wavering Eyes and your own Luster Draco Slayers. So you can still use that combo with Ariadne.
Right. And of course, Stefano is still not done.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's still going to keep going.
He just keeps
He's
going.
got one more summon to be done.
I feel like mentally, this can be a format that's really stressing you out. When you're like very close to the top tables, you might be able to lock up your seat in the top 32, and then an opponent opens like that. You just sit there and watch him make all of those plays, assemble a gigantic field, and you're just like, there goes my chances.
Yeah. So I think he was just questioning, Safak was just questioning whether, because when you summon something with the Draco Slayer boss monsters from the extra deck, you can't use them for the same type of monster that they are.
All right.
That's quite a weird way to explain it. So, like, for example, Dinoster can't, when it summons back one of the Draco Slayer monsters, it can't be used for a fusion summon. So there we go, overlay to Lancelot.
Yeah, that's definitely a card we've seen yesterday already.
Yeah, I was very shocked to see it being played straight after it's been released.
Yeah, but it's not something that harms the better players, they will definitely get their hands on the card.
No, exactly. So it allows you to attack your opponent directly when it's got Exceed material, and if it inflicts battle damage, then you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and destroy it. And once per turn during either player's turn, if your opponent plays, when a spell or trap or another monster effect activated, you can detach and negate one, which is obviously really good.
And what does Shafak hold on to fight back here? I think we're missing a card, is that correct? Oh no, he just...
So he's just played Patheism and discarded the Prime Monarch, so he's going to be drawing into some more cards. Oh no, I think he negated it with Lancelot. Okay, so Patheism got negated with Lancelot, so he didn't get to draw his 2 cards. So he is on 3 cards, and then he's going to be able to search for 3 of his Monarch spell and trap cards, and his opponent gets to pick one.
Right.
So Stefano's going to get to pick one. So let's see. Ideally, what's going to happen here, if he shows him 3 Monarch Stormforths, then he's going to be able to show him 3 Monarch Stormforths, play Monarch Stormforth, and then tribute the Lancelot, for Majesty's Fiend. Well, that's kind of the plays that I would see, or there might be a reason why not there.
What I find interesting is that Shafak is actually playing the Majesty's Fiend in the main deck, because we've mostly seen that card in the side deck this weekend.
So Safak's seemingly playing quite a standard version. Again, his list in German says some of the cards that I can't understand. So that's Majesty's Fiend.
Yep.
Is that Vanity's Fiend?
That's Vanity's Fiend, yes.
Okay, so he's playing Vanity's Fiend as well.
There's quite some interesting choices for the main deck.
Yeah, Vanity's Fiend's very interesting for the main deck. Does he side more? Is that 2 more?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is convenient, the German deck list, and I've got Ollie, who's German, right next to me.
Yeah, quite interestingly enough, Shafak is actually on the 111th place, and he's playing against Stefano, who we just said is very close to the top 32. He's in 40th place.
Yeah.
So there are lots and lots of players with 6 wins. In fact, there are 121 players that have either 6 wins or are doing better than that.
So he does go with the Monarch Stormforth play that I was expecting, and then here's I don't like, even if he does Horn of Heaven, I think he has to. Yeah, there's no real choice. Whoa, okay. I thought you just didn't have to pay life points.
I think it has 2 different effects, actually.
Yeah, it does.
The second one, you do not discard to activate counter trap cards, and you do not pay LP. But that doesn't
stop tributing.
That doesn't cover tributing.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get laughed at for not knowing what it did.
No.
I think that's correct.
I'm really confused why Stefano would not know that. I mean, he's been playing with that card for 8 rounds.
Yeah, and he plays 3.
And it's pretty straightforward wording, to be honest. Well, in any case, that means he's going to lose his monster. Otherwise, Ariadne would be even better.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean...
You just play 3 Horn of Heavens all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I was questioning it when we were reading about his list to begin with, because, it's really strange.
Maybe the Italian version is saying something else.
Potentially, yeah. Maybe the Italian version's a little strange. Also, we saw a giant hand just sneaking out of his extra deck there, just saying hello. Give us a quick wave.
Yeah, quite a few players are playing that card.
Yeah,
it used to be a lot more elusive, but now seemingly everybody in the top contenders field is having a giant hand.
I wish I had one. Which I will be able to when it comes out in the Infinite Gold series. I'll certainly be getting my hands on one of those.
All right. So suddenly the field has been cleared quite a bit, but that's not gonna stay that way for very long.
No, he's got a full extra deck.
Yeah.
He's not used a lot of his cards yet, so I think he's playing Reflacia. Let me try and find it on his deck list. Yeah, he's playing Traptrix Reflacia here, so he's still got that option. He's only playing Bottomless, but still, that's good enough against Monarchs.
Yep. And there's a second donkey coming down for Stefano Memoli. And then
And then the rest.
A gigantic pendulum summon.
Dish, dish. Here we
Yes,
go.
screenshot that.
Yep, so he's going to get another Ariadne effect there.
Just double the numbers.
The field updated.
Yeah. Good timing. Good timing, Ryan.
Okay, so let's have a look at his numbers of extra deck here. So he's already used 2 Dynasters. He's playing 2 Majestas, which is nice. Obviously, he can only play 1 Ignista. That's when I can find Ignista on his deck list. Ah, okay, no, he's playing 2 Ignistas.
All right, and there again, adding a counter trap card to his hand.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if for the rest of this game, Shafak would just give him Horn of Heaven just to troll him.
That would be pretty funny.
No, but that's of course not how it works.
Yeah.
All right.
So we can get another really massive board out here. So this is the way this deck works. You have 5 monsters, and then it's just all about summoning your Draco Slayer boss monsters, and then each one of those can summon other Draco Slayer monsters from different directions in your deck, and then yeah, you just keep going.
Yep.
So we're going to see Majesta here. Majesta's going to use its effect to get Luster. Luster's going to sink out into a Ignista.
Not trying to like take anything away from you, but do you think there's a chance that at some point Shafak is just saying, "Okay, I've seen enough"?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I mean, do you want your opponent to go through all of that?
I think he's yeah. So what's on screen is incorrect. He is playing Monarchs.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where you think, like, should I just, he's got to that point where he's relying on his opponent not doing something correct.
Yeah.
I think that's the
not very likely when you're going up against the former European champion.
No, exactly.
By the way, I remember now. I think Stefano Mimoli went to the World Championship at least twice, but he didn't win it yet.
Yeah. So we're going to see how he decides to play this out here. I think he's going to at least have to go into Ignista to put the Prime Monarch back in his deck, at least.
Yeah.
At the very least.
So is this the question here? When does the opponent say, "Okay, I've seen enough"?
I think it's just when he loses all of his life points. He's got no other option in this game here. We've still got plenty of time on this round, and he's just going to let his opponent.
Yeah,
play
but
out.
that's always the question: is time going to be playing in your favor? I mean, it's fairly reasonable to assume that you're going to lose game 1 at this point.
Yeah.
Do you want to use that little bit of extra time to maybe win game 2, because Monarchs are not exactly known for winning on their first turn.
No.
So I don't know.
I think, it's hard to say. So his decision here is he's letting his opponent play it out. So we're going to see an overlay into just rank 4. I don't know what rank 4 he's going to pick. Castel. Yeah. So Castel's just as good as Ignista in this particular situation.
Yeah, and Stefano's indicating by his gestures. Is that it?
He's pretty done.
Yeah.
But still, he's not done.
No, Shafak is
There's
saying
more
it.
to come.
He's like, nope, I want to see it all. All right.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. All right.
He's indicating he's attacking there, but is that enough? That's 1850 3 times and then 2000.
I'm just going to bring up a card because when we're in between rounds, I cannot show you any hands or any fields of the guys. So I always want to have the card on the side because it looks nice on the stream. So that is my way of preparing.
That's 7,550 on the ball.
Oh, it's not enough.
No, unless I've misremembered some of the attack points.
Yeah, I mean, we're in main phase 2.
Shafak is on 9,000 as well. So.
Yeah. But some guys pointed out that it's enough. Like, there's enough damage on the board. Which is not the case, I guess.
I don't think so. I think he can do... I think he could have extended more in a slightly different way.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, well, there's
Okay.
some stuff.
So we keep going for a little bit.
Yeah.
As an upstart.
Let's see if he managed to get...
I mean, that would be the most epic of comebacks.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. He does have the like the best cards to come back with. But as far as I'm aware, yeah, we got a strike set. So Eddie is not doing much. He's gonna have to normal summon Eddie. Like, he's either gonna normal summon Eddie or he's gonna Stormforth. But even then, he can't Stormforth. I don't know what he's gonna get here. I don't see where he's going with this.
Well, let's see if he
Yeah,
can
let's
show
see how it
us.
goes.
It's definitely incorrect to scoop when you have another turn,
There we go.
but now he realized. That's it.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
right, so let's get straight into these side decks here. So,
yeah.
Shafak is playing multiple copies of Vanity's Fiend. That's quite interesting. It's not unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
He's also playing 2 copies of Wabaku in his side deck. Now that's a
Yeah, it's one of those cards that you really don't need a translation for.
that's a throwback if I ever did see one.
Yeah, there's a Forbidden Chalice, Twin Twister, March of the Monarchs, Maxi, Chain Disappearance, Dark Hole.
Yeah, so Chain Disappearance, that's probably for the Phantom Knights.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also quite good against Edias and Idaces.
But it looks like
opponents.
he made some room in the side deck to play against some of the rogue decks.
Yeah. And there's plenty of space in the extra deck if you wanted to put out in there.
Yeah.
That was hilarious, Ollie. You didn't even laugh. I'm really disappointed.
I was just like, this was this 1 second where I was just checking if I missed something on the app. And then you look at me like really judgmental. It's like, why do you not laugh?
Laugh at my amazing joke.
Sorry.
I've got to put him in every now and again.
You were saying what? Like honestly, I missed it. I was
You
busy
missed
with
it?
I completely missed it.
Okay, well, let's review my poor joke. I was simply joshing about the fact that he has plenty of space in the extra deck because he's playing Monarchs.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're on board now.
Yeah.
I'm on board, right? Okay.
I'm slightly amused.
I hope at least one person at home laughed. Just one.
Rob normally does that to me, to be honest.
What?
Like whenever I'm
Just the
doing commentary
jokes.
with Rob, and I'm making a great joke, at least according to my joke
According to
standards.
you.
I'm German, of course, so we don't have high joke standards. Rob is just looking at me. He's like, no. He's shaking his
Yeah.
head. He's actually actively shaking his head. Yeah. That's like the worst. That is the
Yeah.
worst. That's the worst thing you can do to your other commentary friend.
Yeah, that's pretty unfair.
Yep, and that's why I forced him to dress up in a Kaiba costume this weekend.
And buy all the Blue Eyes White Dragons. Yeah,
Exactly.
that happened. Apparently, you did rip one up in front of one of the vendors.
All right. So what about Stefano's options here? He's got Maxi, Effect Veiler, Fork King, Mystical Space Typhoon, Raigeki, Mind. No, that is. What is that?
I think it looks
There's a
like
system down?
www.mind control.
It looks like Mind Control. Yeah.
It looks like mind control. It looks like a really big W, like there's like 3 W's stuck together.
Yeah. It's quite interesting to see that the guys who are like having the most experience having the worst handwriting. There seems to be a correlation.
Yeah.
So if you want to make day 2 of a YCS, you just need to write your cards in a way that nobody can read them, and then you can just like swap them out for the right card in the right game.
Just to be clear, guys, someone was asking in chat. We are aware that Safak's deck is wrong on the screen there. We just can't change it right now.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to remember that the
Yeah, you have to
Deck's
be
wrong.
a little bit tenacious. That's why we put the tenacity of the Monarchs on the right-hand side.
See, that was good. That was gold.
Okay.
That was gold. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
All right, so we're ready for game 2 between these two. Stefano Mimoli might lock himself up. He's actually going to be, for a fact, in the top 32 after this match if he wins. Shafak, on the other hand, if he wins this match, he's going to be in something like 80th place, I would say, maybe 70 if he's lucky. And then he has to win again, and his tiebreaker really doesn't look that great.
Yeah,
But
quite
if he does win twice in a row, he might just sneak in. It's going to be a very close affair for him.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if you know that, if you're friends with each other, and you've seen the standings at some point, and you know that one of you has like a much better tiebreaker, and for that reason a much better chance of advancing to the top 32. I've seen players who are really friendly with each other just giving the other guy the win.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to
which,
make
you know,
it. Like so here's the win for you, man.
Yeah, which is, it's obviously, against the rules.
No,
to
no,
do
no, no.
things
It
like
is
that?
it is perfectly fine as long as there's no prizes involved.
Oh, right, okay.
If one guy is just saying, "Hey, I like you. I'm going to give up to you. I'm going to give you the win," like without any strings attached, that is perfectly within the rules of the game.
Well, yeah.
If he says, "I'm going to do that for you if you invite me
If
to
you-
dinner,"
Then
that's no
Yeah.
longer legal. Yeah, there's a very fine line, of course, because for many of them, you're like, you kind of feel like there's something involved. But I've seen players genuinely give the win to another guy.
Yeah.
And that is allowed. All right. All of a sudden, we're playing with cards that used to be banned for quite a while, with Raigeki on Stefano Memoli's hand and the Dark Hole on Shafak Shahin's hand. So both of these guys said, okay, let's go old school here.
Okay, so that's a bit rough for Shafak. He is open with double effect Veiler,
Yeah.
Dark Hole, March of the Monarchs tonight. So he's not got much going for him here, apart from the fact that he can't stop Memoli's plays. Ideally, right now, what needs to happen is that Shafak's going to retain those effect Veilers.
Mm-hmm.
Let Memoli go. Just let him go. Don't hold him back.
I'm not going to sing. You can say let
Don't-
it go how many times you want.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start singing.
Just don't hold him back. And then he can keep that Dark Hole and try and wipe the board like that. There's one of the stream team dancing about that. Just
Yeah, we should only have a soundtrack to
Stefan's
this.
dancing. But yeah. So let's see what happens here. I think that's probably the best option.
Yeah. Do you agree with Shafak having Stefano go first?
I think it's the best move, yeah. Shafak can just try and get more cards, more consistency in the Monarch deck here.
Right, leading the pack, by the way, is Ali Favas at the moment, who we saw in our last feature match of yesterday, with a clean record, and then Simon Thurnherr.
Clean record, you mean?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like.
Oh no, yeah. No offenses. Yeah, we didn't catch him. It's something like that. And then in third place, Long Dao, and the best player out of the gigantic pack of 7-1 players is Jake Quincy.
Yeah.
Gonna have a look at the standings a little bit later.
Yep, so we see a 1-for-1 here. That was actually a really, really good top deck.
Now, I'm surprised that Stefano already passed, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
normally you just see the Draco Performer Pal deck go and go and go.
Yeah, so there wasn't actually much to do in his hand.
Yeah, there's a Raigeki
He
Mystical
didn't even
Space.
set Mystical Space Typhoon, which was great. That's a very good move not to set that because you need to retain that for Domain of the Monarchs.
All right. So, excellent play. No mistakes. Like, we didn't see any mistakes in this game so far.
No, it seems like both players are playing really high level Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah.
here.
Yesterday, I mean, that kind of happens in the first few rounds at a tournament. You see interesting moves, like a farm girl attacking into a monster with 2,000 attack.
Yeah.
Which is, it's honestly, that's the worst showing I've ever seen from a farm girl. Normally, they always tend to apply a little bit of damage, and they are really hard to remove,
Yeah.
and not just, like, attacking into something bigger.
Yeah. So Stefano here opened with two painful decisions. So that's tough because you gotta wait to use those.
Both of these players hardly drew
there's not
into
much traction going on
a
here, to be
great hand here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of traction.
Oof, and actually Stefano is holding on to 2 copies of Vector Pendulum and 2 copies of Master Pendulum.
Yeah. It's even worse.
That's kind of weird.
So I think they're both the same side of scales, if I remember correctly. It's one of the things I always struggle to remember is the actual pendulum scales.
Yeah, so we got 3 for Master Pendulum.
And yeah, the vector's low as well.
Vector is low as well, yep. Sometimes we have a little bit of a delay here before the card shows up. But yeah.
Yeah, anyway, must be low because otherwise he would have.
Yeah, you would
he
just
would have-
played
he would
them, yeah.
Played them and pended. Yeah.
Yeah. There are these situations where you can tell what the card is doing just by a player not doing something.
Yeah.
All right.
So goes and searches that Monarch Stormfall. He's going to Monarch Stormfall Eidos.
Yeah, Shavak's got something now.
Yeah. So he's going to be able to take one of those 5 cards away, which Stefano Memoli can't be too happy with because that's obviously going to
Yeah, his
it's
hand
not a
wasn't
good
good.
thing.
It's only going to get worse. Like, who's going to be happy
Yeah,
with that?
taking a card, even taking a card from a bad hand isn't always bad. But when you're putting it back in the deck, that's just making your deck less consistent to get a good, to get a good card from that natural draw.
That ideal target, the MST or Raigeki? What do you think?
I think Regeki would be good, just because then we're entering a very simplified game state here in which Erebus is really big,
Right.
and Stefano doesn't have anything that's
He
really
did
big.
hit Raigeki.
Oh wow, really?
He did. That's the second time this
Well.
weekend that we've seen the random card from the
Well.
hand disappearing, and it is always the best card, looking at it from the perspective of the guy that activated the effect that shuffled it back.
Yeah.
Wow, that must be rough for Stefano Memoli.
Yeah, really.
Ooh. And
Yeah,
also, one of these master pendulums disappeared.
That was the one that he summoned.
Okay.
So this is even worse now because he's just going to be
Okay.
like, I've got 3 domains. Can you pick one to go to my hand, please?
Yeah.
But
I mean, at least he does have the MST to deal with that.
seems to be missing one domain for Monarchs.
Yeah, it's going to be coming up in just a
But
second.
he's going to give him a domain. That's fine because he's got Mystical Space Typhoon.
Yeah, that's one of the moves where Stefano really doesn't mind that happening. And of course, Shafak is playing it right away. He follows it up with March of the Monarchs. These Monarchs are keeping pretty busy. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you have these rulers that are just sitting in their castle not doing anything.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's it. He just drew Rescue Rabbit. And all of his targets were gone because he'd used Painful Decision. So he had no more
Yeah.
normal monsters to summon.
Stefano Memoli had one of the, I think that was like the roughest draw you can have in this deck.
Yeah, it really was. Just opened all your normal monsters, and then your final solution to the game was to draw the Rescue Rabbit.
Wow.
Actually, when we first had the Pendulum monsters, I was playing the Magicians, and when we just had Vector, and like Draco, when we thought that Draco Face Off was coming in the special edition, I was
Yeah,
testing
and
it.
here you see Stefano explaining.
Yeah,
This is what I drew. Three cards that don't do anything. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we can see it. He actually showed his opening hand. I think this is one of those examples where it really doesn't hurt yourself. Showing
Yeah.
your opponent, hey, this is what I had.
yeah,
Also, it seems like these two are getting along well.
yeah.
Stefano seems to be in a cheery mood for once. It's not always the case. He's one of these guys
Yeah.
that really can take... they can be in a very sour mood after they lost the game. And I'm not blaming them. I mean, there's something on the line, like prestige, of course, and some cool prizes, by the way. And you definitely want to win those matches. Right, so it's 1 each. Score is tied between Shafak Shahin from Germany, Stefano Memoli from Italy.
Yeah, as I was saying about Rabbit, I was trying that back when we didn't have Master Pendulum, we only had Vector, and it was just a nightmare. When I draw 2 Vectors, and then it was just like, I know for a fact I've got 1 card in my deck that is absolutely useless right now,
Yeah.
and I wasn't going to start playing Pot of Riches.
Yeah.
So
But not everybody's playing the Rescue Rabbit, but
No.
it can be a really strong card in the deck,
yeah,
especially when you're following that beatdown path.
yeah, and it's a level 4 as well, so can't really go wrong.
All right. What is changing between game 2 and game 3? Are they going back to the side decks again, or is for the most part you just like leave it the way it is?
Mostly just leaving it the way it is. You've already put in a lot of the stuff that you're gonna play. Maybe Safak is gonna put in some more really questionable text to try and
Questionable text.
like the Vanity's Fiend. Like you might fill his deck with stuff that he just really wants to get out turn 1. Questionable text. Yeah, that was quite a good one, that one. Maybe he's gonna fill that in with a load of cards that are really just, I don't want my opponent to play the game.
Right. And in case you guys are bored in between rounds, although today the breaks in between rounds seem to be a lot shorter than yesterday, it's also almost always the case at these larger events.
Yeah.
You can check out the written coverage. There are links to it on the official website. If you really want to type it in, it's tcg.konami-europe.com/coverage. That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
But we have a link in the chat every now and then. The MooBot, our little invisible chat moderator, actually he's not that invisible, is spreading that link every now and then. You can click on it to see all the standings
Yeah.
of the past rounds. You see lots and lots of pictures.
Yeah, I think if you type !coverage, I think it appears in chat. I'm not quite sure about that. PJ will soon tell you guys.
No, PJ is taking care of it, yeah. All right, it's 1-1, and time has been called for the rest of the field. We, again, start a little bit later, I would say 5, maybe 7 minutes later. So it's not that much time until we're going to be going to timeout. I promise, guys, I will start a countdown at some point soon. So you will know when we're going to finish our match.
Yeah. So let's see who Stefano decides is going first here. I've just got two of the stream team dancing right in front of me, and
It's really distracting.
I wouldn't say distracting. It's just mildly entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
It can have some interesting effects on you, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that yesterday when somebody was coming up to me and he said, I really don't like this format. He personally didn't like it. And then like a minute later, I got a call from a friend who said, I'm going to be a father. And you're just going through this like roller coaster of emotions in a way. And then he followed it up and he told me, yeah, I talked to another friend of us and we decided that your son, because I got a little one, because he's a little bit older, he can be like Kaiba and my son is going to be like Yugi. I'm like, oh,
What?
well, thank you for like laying it out for me already. He was like, yeah, and your son can like win the first few matches or something, but in the end, youthful aggression is going to prevail and everything. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I just told him I'll make sure to let him know, and I will let you know what he's going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're playing out here pretty standard players here. Some in the second donkey and the pendulum sorcerer. We see the pendulum sorcerer got effect veiled, but the donkey was able to continue its
Do its dirty work.
donkeying around.
Let's just call it that.
I was trying to get a pun in there, but I was at a loss. I mean, look at it. It's just so cool. What? Look at the donkey. He's awesome. He's not the first donkey, but he's definitely the second donkey.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at Shafak's hand. He's got an Eidos, Domain of the True Monarchs, Pantheism of the Monarchs, and Twin Twisters.
Yeah. So, Twin Twisters is very good in this situation. He's going to be able to discard, whatever card he decides to. What's great about this is that it's not like it's locking him down right now. He's just gets to discard whatever cards he wants.
That was
the end of the
True
turn.
Monarch. I don't think does he have Pantheism? Isn't that? Or maybe the card was missing in the app, I think.
Yeah, so Pantheism a couple of times to shape that hand into what he needs to be able to deal with this. I mean, to be honest, Mamoli's not very set up here. There's not a lot occurring.
It looks a little bit like it, but it's
Pantheism.
it's a trap.
It's a trap. Yeah, so he's got a Space Typhoon for the domain, if required. This is the weakness. The weakness to the Monarch deck is really being able to destroy that domain with just a single spell or trap card, which in this case is Mystical Space Typhoon.
What is your prediction for this match? Who do you think is going to win?
I think it's probably going to be Mamoli. He's got the answer for the domain, so yeah, his opponent's gonna Zafakir is gonna think, okay, I'm gonna be able to lock him down. However, if we see Erebus coming down here, which he does have, we could again see that absolute amazing snipe of that one card from Memoli's hand.
Yeah.
It's a 1 in 3 chance.
It's
like,
better odds than last time,
yeah,
and he hit.
Taking Skullcrabat Joker would be pretty nice as well.
Yeah.
But taking that Mystical Space Typhoon would absolutely clinch the game for Shafak here,
Yep.
yes.
All right, let's see.
So Stormforth, he doesn't have to pick right now. I think Memoli was trying to get him to pick, but he doesn't have to pick yet. But he's going to pick. He's going to get rid of the donkey. Airbus here, so he's going to... I don't know what he's going to put back. See, this is the problem, right? So if Shafak is not absolutely at the top of his game right now, he's got to absolutely be thinking, right, where is the threat? Where is the threat to me winning the game right now? Sometimes you just got to sit and think to yourself, how am I going to lose?
Yep.
What am I going to kick myself for not thinking about in about 5 seconds? And that is absolutely just that Memoli has an answer in his hand. So he is, right, so he's thought about it. Cards in hand. I've got Twin Twisters.
He came to the correct conclusion.
Yeah, he's got Twin Twisters for the pendulum scales. That's fine.
There's a 1.
What is it?
Well, we will know for a
We will
second.
know
So it's
very
either
quickly.
MST, Skullcrabat Joker, or Lizard Draw. And you're saying
This
MST
is
would be
intense.
the...
If it's MST, then absolutely.
Yeah. Hold your ears.
Yeah.
It's a warning to our technical staff. For some reason, they are listening to this a lot louder. Okay.
I'm intently watching the app here to see what disappears.
Yeah, I think everybody's like, I want to know.
What's gone?
We need a little bit of a drum roll or something.
Yeah.
We gotta. But no, Stefano is leaving his hand face down. Now he's picking it up, and in just a second we will know. Shafak.
So he draws a card here, so he's going to have 3 cards. What are those 3 cards?
Shafak
Is one of the Mystical Space
puts
Typhoon.
down.
It's gone.
Oh
it's
my!
absolutely gone.
Holy heart of the cards! That is it. Stefano just lost his silver bullet. The one card that could completely shut down, or that could deal with the big threat that the Monarchs were holding on to.
Oh my gosh! And the effect veiler for the Skullcrabat Joker. Twin Twisters.
Wow! If I've ever seen a 1-2 punch, that's it. That's completely wrecking Stefano Memoli's
That's
game
it.
right there. This looks excellent for Shafak Shahin, and it didn't just a second ago.
No, so he's going to get to draw from Geeturtle and Lizard Draw.
Right.
So he's going to keep looking for answers. Are we going to see a Mystical Space Typhoon? Are we going to see a Twin Twisters?
Yeah,
His
it's-
hand is empty. These are his only 2 cards. He needs an answer to Domain.
I don't want to be Stefano Memoli. Like, if I draw MST, okay, I'm fine with being Stefano Memoli.
Yeah,
but
because you've got a full extra deck.
but
He's
that's-
setting a card.
that's
He didn't
not
do
an
it.
MST. Oof, that must be so rough.
That's and that's
honestly,
locked down.
that's-
So he's got Master Pendulum in hand, and then what did he set?
yeah, we don't know yet. A bottomless trap
Bottomless.
hole.
Yeah, right. Okay, so he's still good.
Yeah,
Shafak
yeah.
here
He's having some more
Yeah.
time, so that is fine. But Shafak has his lock applied, and it doesn't look like there's any way out of it for Stefano Memoli
No.
unless he draws into that.
He now has to
Mystical
naturally
Space
draw
Typhoon.
it. He has to naturally draw it.
Yeah.
The best card for him to draw here would and we're in time.
And we're in time.
Okay,
Jesus Christ.
so
Talk about time pressure.
Memoli is on the clock. He's on the clock here.
Wow.
It's got like it is absolutely MST or bust. And the best part about this is Shafak's just sat there thinking, I'm just going to keep making my plays.
Yeah, Shafak doesn't even know how lucky he is.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't realize.
But I think he's going to be feeling quite fine about this.
Yeah.
I mean, Twin Twisters for 2, Effect Veiler, all of that is still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow. Wow. And
Right.
still, that 2,800 Airbus is just sat there in the domain of the Monarchs, arms crossed, sat on that throne thinking, you're not doing anything.
yeah, not anymore. Wow, that's the second time that he sniped a card from Stefano's hand. It was the best card.
Yeah. And there's a Vanity Fiend as well. So it is going to get bottomless, however. But, you know, there's 28 direct damage to Stefano Memoli here. Now, this is just some crazy Yu-Gi-Oh! We're seeing right now. He has to get some kind of spell destruction here to get rid of that domain of the true Monarchs.
Right. Stefano draws. This might be it.
He didn't look at it. He didn't even look at it until he's just looking at it now. It's a spell card. I can't quite see where it is. I think it looked like a painful decision.
Yeah, I'm going to have it up. It's
thing is-
Wavering Eyes.
Wavering Eyes. Okay, that's still not going to help him. So now he's thinking to himself, am I going to play Wavering Eyes to thin my deck? Checking, what have we got? He's looking at his extra deck and thinking, look at all these monsters I have. I could summon them all.
Yeah.
But I just don't have anything to get rid of that domain of the true Monarchs. So he could put it in the Pendulum Zone, play Wavering Eyes, get a monkey board, and do this whole combo to try and thin his deck even more to get closer and closer. Because
it kind of looks like that's the only option, isn't it?
Yeah, so he can Wavering Eyes into Monkey Board, and then Monkey Board, Lizard Draw, draw a card. So he can draw one more card this turn, but it is an absolute deficit. He wouldn't be able to do that. It just wouldn't be useful. To be honest, it wouldn't be useful.
Yeah.
And he's only on 3,100 life points. Next turn, he is going to lose the rest of his life points to that Airbus, and just one other monster. Right, so he takes the risk.
He doesn't. He doesn't go for it.
I'm pretty sure the Prime Monarch can just attack. Yeah,
And that is
that's
it. Yeah. Wow.
Whoa.
What a comeback from Shafak Shahin. What a serious line of plays.
He is stone-faced.
Yeah.
And Stefano Mamoli's just thinking, wow, that Airbus absolutely destroyed me.
Yeah.
Twice in this game did we see it snipe a card
Yeah.
from his hand.
That
Absolutely.
is the excitement. That is Yu-Gi-Oh. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you have
Wow.
1 in 3 or 1 in 5. Those are your
Yeah.
odds, and you just hit them. You don't even
Yeah.
know how lucky you are.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we can see.
Yeah.
Wow, that was an excellent game.
That
One of
was
the
intense.
most entertaining games we've had this weekend.
Yeah. There was just literally that domain that was holding him back. He had a full extra deck.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything. He would have been able to do anything he wanted. Absolutely anything.
Wow.
Wow.
So
That was-
Shafak Shahin, we said it. He was sitting on 111, something like that, before the round. So now he's moving up.
Yeah.
Good for him that he was playing against somebody else with a very good tiebreaker, with Stefano Memoli. Same match record, but very good tiebreaker. So chances are that's going to help him a little bit move forward. Should be now in 70th, 80th place, something
Yeah.
like that.
At this
Needs
stage,
to
it's
get
usually
really
about
lucky.
like half your table
Yeah.
every time
Yeah.
you win a match.
Yeah, pretty much, yes. But he really needs to, like,
Yeah, oh,
ma-
yeah, he
maybe
needs
he's on
to.
60th place after this round. And even then, if he wins again, he might be 33rd.
Yeah, it
Sometimes that happens.
All depends on the tiebreakers
Yeah.
of him and of the person he's going to potentially defeat in the next
Yes.
round.
Wow. That was quite the match.
Yeah.
And with that, Shafak Stein, like you said, he was really stone-faced after that
Yeah,
match.
he was just like, yeah, no
"Yep,
problem.
That's
No
how
problem
that's
at
how we
all."
roll, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
Monarchs beating Draco Pals. We've seen it go this way or the other way this weekend. Is there
Yeah.
a clear winner in this matchup for you?
Right now, it's just hard
It
to
seems
say.
they're going toe-to-toe, really.
Yeah, it all depends on the builds of people playing Monarchs and people playing. So this is one thing that was really strange. I kind of wanted Stefano Memoli to win just so we could interview him and find out just why wasn't he playing a Massive Restrict.
Right.
He wasn't playing it at all. I don't know why.
Maybe he felt like the matchup was favorable, so
Yeah.
he didn't have to put any more spaces in.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was overly main decking for it. I mean, the Horn of Heavens were good, but I mean, we even saw he thought that he could get a free Horn of Heaven with Ariadne,
Yeah.
which that's strange.
Yeah, that is
Especially for someone of his caliber,
extremely.
you wouldn't
Yeah,
expect
that is
that.
extremely strange. I really don't know if maybe sometimes somebody hands you the card and says it negates the activation costs of counter traps, but that's one of the shortest effects. Just
Yeah,
say
you can just
you
read
do
it.
not pay LP. That's
Yeah.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, or discarding cards.
Or
as
discard
well.
cards.
Yeah.
I think that the main event is already almost ready for the next round, so we don't have that
Yeah.
much time in between rounds. This is going to be a short break.
That was quite a long game.
Yeah, it was a very long game, and time has been called like 10 or 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So we are going to take a very short break.
Yeah.
Then we're going to be back with our next feature match, or maybe in between the rounds we can talk a little bit about how the whole thing is shaping up. But we already said it. It's Draco Pulse versus Monarchs versus some Cosmo at the top. It seems like the other two decks are at the top tables.
Yeah, and then there's just a few. And you guys can let us know what you want to see in the next round. We'll
Yeah.
try and, if it's a bubble match, we'll do that. Or if you want to see a specific deck, just post in the chat.
Right.
We'll try and get that on for you.
Chances are we're going to go with another exciting bubble match
Yeah.
where the winner is going to lock himself in for the top 32.
Yeah.
All right, with that, we're going to take a short break. We're going to be back very soon, so stay tuned for that.
Hello everyone, and I hope you're enjoying the coverage for YCS Prague so far. My name is Matthew Bell, I'm a product manager here at Konami Digital Entertainment Europe. Today I wanted to do a video to talk a bit about the adjusted list which came into effect on the 8th of February. We got a lot of your feedback via our Facebook post. I just wanted to thank you all so much for actually taking the time to write to us, and I can say I did read all those comments and it kind of inspired us to make a bit of video giving you a bit more information about why we made the decision that we did in the end. I suppose the very first thing to address is the adjusted list saw 6 cards placed into different positions on the Forbidden Unlimited list, and these were done very purposely for the Pepe deck. If we look at some of the events that we had which led up to the decision, on the day of release for the set Breakers of Shadow, YCS Sydney took place, and 53% of the Day 2 decks were actually this new Pepe deck. That's a lot considering the set literally just came out, so the players didn't really have a lot of time for the availability, and we still saw 53% of them making Day 2. When we look at the top 32 from that tournament, 60% of those were the Pepe deck. That was you know, we knew it was going to be the best deck in the format. We had our suspicions. We didn't know by how much of a margin compared to the other top decks this one would be the strongest. As it turns out, it was a lot. If we look at YCS Atlanta, 29 of the top 32 decks were this new Pairings Pendulum deck, and that's just crazy from what we see. When we actually consider what's happened, because YCS Atlanta was played after the adjusted list was announced, but before it came into effect. And 29 was this one deck. We were essentially looking at the only deck that was going to be competitive at this time was the Pairings Pendulum deck, and that's not really what our goal is when we try and create formats for you guys. We want to make sure there's a bit of variety and chance for you to play with a couple of different decks. While there may be a best deck in the format, we want you to have a bit of a chance to at least ask the question, is it really? Which in this particular case was just not happening. So we knew that this would have a really big impact on the game, even down to the local level, which is why we decided to go with an adjusted list rather than a full Forbidden Unlimited list update, because we wanted to give stores a chance to you know, talk to their local communities and figure out how you guys want to enjoy playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And do what's best for you guys, which is why the adjusted list is only enforced for our higher level events like the YCS Championship Series you're playing in Prague right now, you know, regionals, and we're looking at UDS as well. But yeah, talk to your stores if you want to play. I want to give the chance for you again. So some of the other things that went into the not generally known, but happens all the time. So we have a so like you can see, just what happened after Bosch came out. There was no sort of transitional period where this just some notice that we didn't even some of the other higher level decks vanished as soon as Pepe appeared on the scene. if we look at what the results from YCS Sydney, we have this deck, the Pepe deck, which was capable of summoning Cyber Dragon Infinity and backing up with 2 to 3 counter traps in its first turn. And this wasn't even the best version of the deck. And you can imagine sitting across from that as just about any other deck. It was extremely difficult. That's the turn 1 play, and you were doing it so consistently. The Pepe deck was by far the most consistent deck in the entire format. Going forward, I do want to emphasise that the adjusted list was for a very exceptional circumstance, and it's not something we considered lightly or are intending to use as a regular balance measure for the competitive side of Yu-Gi-Oh! We honestly still believe the Pepe deck will evolve and continue to be part of the discussion about what's the best deck in the format on the run-up to the Continental Championships in all TCG territories. Even with these restrictions, I understand quite a few of you.
It doesn't target.
Yep.
And the Cosmo monsters resolve and summon another one from the deck. So
Yeah, so that's got to be really interesting in the mirror match when you're
Yes,
playing against other
yes.
Cosmos and you're trying to get rid of those ships. So let's talk a little bit about that last trap card that you put, Solemn Strike. Why is that an important card in your deck?
some strike, in my opinion, is the card of the format. You need some